Hello, good evening, and welcome to my living room. My name's Andy Law, and we're here to play LAWhammer.
Yay! Yay! Woo! Yeah! Excellent.
I am happy that we're all back together again, and I'm not coughing like an idiot in bed. It's really nice to have everybody around our table. So, hi all! We're just going to dive straight in because we have quite a lot we can potentially be getting through this evening. So, diving straight in means XP for if you're watching this not live, 2 weeks ago's episode. Yeah. If you're watching it live from about 9 years ago before I had COVID. So, XP, how well did we do when we were in the palace meeting all the Electrocounts and wobbly-eyed smack against the wall, Crown Prince made his escape? We did pretty well, actually. I think we performed admirably. I imagine you're doing your card sheet additions in the corner there.
I'm freaking out right now.
And we'll just let Ed freak out in the corner. We did pretty well. I'm going to give you all 115 XP.
115.
Remember that thing that I did, and you were like, "Wow, I never would have thought about that," and I should get extra XP. So can I get extra XP? Please?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
The thing.
The thing.
Andy,
Oh, yeah, you did.
remember?
I remember you got a Belding, didn't you?
No, it was even better.
People in the
Yeah,
chat.
I think he applauded me.
I shall take a drink while I consider the applause that I apparently provided him. Did anyone get the short-term goal?
Sorry, what was the amount of XP?
115.
150, thank you.
I don't know because
I don't know. Well, how did you do?
I don't know when I was first last week. My short-term ambition is to recover meat pie and Gerald, so I guess I won't know until.
So
this
the
episode.
short-term ambition, by the time we start this episode, is successfully completed. 50 XP.
Thank you.
I mean, mine, I think, like yes, and then no, and then yes, but maybe for a short time, yes.
What's yours?
Lead
the
his flock of
hokey-cokey.
followers.
Oh, right, yeah, lead his flock of followers.
Very nice.
Yes,
and then no.
given what's going to be happening, and a nice little story I'm sure he'll be telling you about later, I'm going to give you yes. 50.
Mine is still find out if Greta and the barge is safe. I'm just going to keep that.
I'm going to conclude that one and wipe it off because we're done with that particular part. So, yes, 50.
Oh, right.
I
nice.
got mine, but I'll wait until you say it on the stream.
Oh. I know the one. Yes, 50 XP.
I'm also going to be somewhat clandestine about mine.
Oh, someone clandestine.
My
Have you done it, though?
Blow up Altdorf.
Oh.
I think maybe, but I don't know. Not.
Yeah.
I don't think we found out who was that orchestrated the Red Crown based things right now.
No.
I'm gonna change it to something.
Yeah, I'm going to change mine because I've just
Was that
concluded
not our
it to
party
kill
short-term?
something of note.
Kill something of note. You're looking for getting a big hat, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, our
That's always a
party-
really good short-term one for you.
Our party short-term ambition we should maybe change because it's find out if the Trots were behind the attack on our Ulrich and we're kind of away from there.
Yeah. So party short-term ambition. I will let you decide in the break because then you'll be aware of what's happening with the party afterwards. So we will, after the break, have a very brief discussion about short-term ambition just so that they can nail it down for themselves. And I'll also let the individual PCs, if they want to change them then too. So unless anybody's got any short-term they want to immediately drop, just in case they get to, immediately do it, I think we're good to go.
Rock and roll.
Yeah?
Yeah, baby.
Are we all good to go?
We're not shilling anything this week.
No, we're not shilling. Inside the Rookery is currently on its hiatus, although I am going to be posting about a masterclass probably tomorrow that we're doing with Inside the Rookery. I'm still vacillating between 3 different ones. I can't decide which one I want to do, but I'm going to be running the masterclass next week. So if you want to know more about our masterclasses, that'll be over on the Inside the Rookery Patreon, but not doing that yet.
Join our Patreon.
Yeah, chill that.
Yeah.
Let's
I was
try
about to
one
say,
thing.
why don't you show that, Ed, since you're there and you're the one panicking most?
Right. Hello, everybody. Jesus.
Patreon.
Do the Patreon. That's where you can find all of our LAWhammer rules. Those are all free. Some behind-the-scenes stuff is free. Some talent stuff is free. And then if you want to get involved and get a little bit more in-depth, there are obviously different stages of how much you can get involved with things. If you really get involved with stuff, you actually become part of the show. There are bits where you can be in the credits.
Yep.
So be very credible. Jesus, and lovely stuff. Back over to Annie Law.
You can have a get a foot rub from Sage tier.
Sure.
It's
do
really
not.
cheap.
We do not over the internet. And you could put in a character that you want as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
name an
Yeah,
NPC.
we have a whole
Or
slew of them turning
Yeah,
up.
Then only might give that character a foot rub.
Or like the
Ah,
Hunger
see,
Games.
linked, well done.
Like the Hunger Games, you can float in some extra items. To have
Wait, can you?
You can add something to the game, yes, and
say
you
who
can
they want it
Hunger
to be.
Game-esque stuff.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, you haven't been reading the Discord where every time something like that happens, Ashkal does a hilarious thing.
Well, I was
About
going to say, like, Alameno is going to get, like, a strap-on or something.
I just thought he was being creative.
Drop.
Oh, that's another good one as well. If you're not already following us on Discord or all that sort of stuff, if this is YouTube, that link will be in the dibbly blop down the bottom. Twitch. Erin put the link in the Twitch chat. Job done. I mean, if you're here anyway, it's likely, and it's live, it's likely already is part of
And
Discord
for those
anyway.
of you watching live, just a small apology, because apparently there's an audio delay at your end. That won't be on the live video, but apparently it is on your one. Super sorry. I'm now just being a dick. So as I make various mouth movements to nothing. Right, so now that we've done our shilling of ourselves, yay, patron! I think it's probably time for us to walk in someone else's footsteps.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we on episode 65 already?
Yes.
Yeah, we are, episode 65. I do wonder if we'll hit episode 88 or whether that'll never occur. Will we conclude the campaign before then? Well, we'll find out as we plow on with our version of the Enemy Within campaign, which is, of course, completely unlike anything that's in the actual books, as we dive into episode number 65 in His Footsteps. Snow comes drifting down over Middenheim. Princess Alamenowife of the Laurelhorn is currently in a half state of panic. She has just met with an Ostlander. And the meeting did not go quite as she expected, which is one of the reasons why she's moving at speed from the Wolfenplatz, where Katerina, the Grand Baroness of Middenheim, holds court, over towards the Kralaplatz. It has been almost 2 months since she saw the Crown Prince of Altdorf become a very legal mutant before their eyes. As Karl Franz, the Emperor, looked on with a mixture of horror and resignation, as the gathered elector counts watched on with, let's say, more towards the horror side of the reactions. But even more worryingly, the new Ulrich attempted to kill the Emperor. And only failed out of shock. Karl Franz moved with speed, put his hammer in the way, and it shattered. The great blade of Middenheim in Ulrich's hand had broken the hammer of Sigmar. It's fair to say that in the last 2 months, there had been a great deal of movement across the electoral provinces, For the Jaegers, that movement had involved fleeing the palace as fast as they possibly could, along with Boris Todbringer, and getting out. For Alaminowite, the last 2 months have largely been spent with the princess, helping her come to terms with the fact that she is not going to war. Her father is. And her father is using her to amuse and appease the court, while he spends money, speaks to dukes, speaks to counts, speaks to marquis, speaks to every noble he can get his hands on who may have additional soldiers that he can claim for his state army. This winter, as far as Middenheim is concerned, has only one purpose: to crinkle with a wrapper. I mean,
I was trying to do it quiet. Anyway,
sorry, pardon me, not to crinkle with a
There we
wrapper.
go.
One purpose. No, it's not coming off.
I've breached it.
God, we'll all pause and watch you around.
Come on,
Getting
Andy.
performance anxiety now. I can't.
You're
Anyway,
on the live
shush!
stream every week.
Don't worry, it happens to everyone.
It does indeed.
Oh.
She is being used to amuse the court, while the men are organizing war. And that is how the princess has come to determine all of those various dukes and counts and others that are not coming to her palace, going to her father's, the men. Because almost all of them, bar one, is in fact a man. And all of them are preparing for war very seriously. Talking about numbers, talking about logistics, talking about the reality of besieging Altdorf. It's crazy. But hey, almost 2 months of parties in the Wolfenpalats. It could be worse. But you did not expect the tap, tap, tap from Katerina herself when she had been gently approached by Margrave Sievers, the appointed ambassador from the Elector Count of Ostland to Boris's court. He had moved from Boris's palace, which is in a somewhat disheveled state, half boarded up, half bricked, huge hole still in the front of it, over to her palace, slipped in and had words with the princess purely to try and get hold of you. Which is why you're now running over towards the Kralaplatz. The Kralaplatz, unlike the Wolfenplatz, is on the opposite end of the main palace in the middle. A tall tower, more than a palace in and of itself, and it's once where Yume's mother had held court when she was here claiming asylum. Now, it's where Princess Ume holds court. She, unlike her mother, does not have a great swathe of followers, hangers-on, an entire court along with her. She has herself and 3 Nipponese people, all of whom refuse to accept that she exists.
I'm very lonely.
Oh, well, come over to our palace. We have parties every night. We're
I'm
bringing
sure she
none
has.
to the north.
There's war happening.
In
Come
2
on,
months.
have some respect. It's not a time.
She has been broadly busy. It doesn't surprise you that she's not in the palace. There's not even guards posted on the outside of it. It is within the palace grounds. No one goes in here unless they're supposed to, but still, there's almost always guards here regardless. But there are none. You pass by with ease, move up the stairs into its echoing halls, find no princess, but you know where she most likely is, out in the main gardens. And that is where you find Princess Ume, who is currently freezing, up to her middle, in water. Looking pretty dejected with herself, as off to the side, lecturing in Nipponese to a stone, which has on it a Nipponese character marked in paint, which is dribbled a little bit, clearly painted on recently. Lecturing in Nipponese as she just sits there, her teeth chattering, nodding. She is wearing what you can only describe as ridiculous clothing. but it completely shows her legs. And a half crop top. It's this weird bound up thing around her midriff. It's sort of white. And she looks cold. She looks really cold. As you're being lectured about the spirits and centering yourself in the land in which you find yourself in order to find the local kami. You have been wholly unsuccessful. Wholly. With both an H and a WH. It has been a deeply unimpressive learning experience. Not that you are officially learning anything.
Sure.
Such is the nature of your relationship that your tutor is literally lecturing standardized lessons for fear of breaking the law. Is not giving you anything that is tailored for you. Which makes this whole process, if anything, even more annoying. Particularly because you're not entirely convinced that you're wearing the right thing, that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, or even if you're supposed to be immersed in the water. But you think you've got it, because she does pause every once in a while when you're clearly doing something wrong, to take a deep breath, and then continue on with the lesson. As Alamenewaith comes across the snow at not walking speed, but running. She is dressed as a mixture of an imperial noble and an elf of the Laurelorn. It's more on the imperial noble side of things than it is elf of the Laurelorn, but it is in lovely dappled shades of green and into autumn, as if winter is yet to properly grasp her soul.
Sure.
Her face is perfectly made up. The rune, though, that she did have under her eye is currently smudged clean. You, by now, know her well enough to know what that means. She's about to do something different. The life that she was walking, the path that she had decided, has been changed. And the fact she's running at you suggests all of your loose plans of we'll train, we'll get into place, and we'll try to fix this, when the snows break, may be about to change. Pa, 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 pa.
Get out of the water, you will die. I will help you. You look cold. Get out. I need to talk to you. Come on, princess.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm done here anyway.
The lecture at the stone, her face stiffens. But she continues, because obviously she wasn't lecturing at you.
We will thank the local spirits.
Bow.
I'll just wait.
Oh, gosh,
I respect spirit chat.
Endurance test, please.
Great.
Just to find out how many toes you've got left.
Can I assist her?
No. Oh, yeah, if you want. Yeah, no, actually,
You're not
no.
passing.
Not to pass
Have
it.
supportive.
Two success. That's good. Your teeth are chattering.
Yeah.
You're out. Your legs are all bare. Her legs are all bare. She looks ridiculous.
Harlot.
As a side note, by the way, I feel like she would also slightly be like, it doesn't matter what she's doing, because technically anything she does should be like the right thing, right? So like that's bowing her a little bit. But anyway, she's like, do I have time to go get changed? I'll catch the death of me.
Of course you
can-
have time. We will do it together. I will change you.
Well, we can
Because
talk.
apparently you're wearing a nappy.
More clothes would just be an impediment. It's fine. Long story.
Right.
You make your way round towards the Kralapalats. You do drag a few eyes, particularly as you pass by the Wolfenplatz, where the Knights Panther are standing proud on the outside. Two white wolves now stand here also. They're standing less proud and a bit more big bearded guys, big wolves over their shoulders, not entirely happy to be sitting by the cats at all. But they turn round and out comes the wolf whistle. which is a classic call for prostitutes in Middenheim. The wolf whistle. As they see the pair of you go by. It's not the first time you've had wolf whistles thrown in your direction, Alaminawaith, in this palace. It is, however, the first time you've had one cast in your direction, because that's just not right.
Yeah.
But hey, legs out, they obviously can't help themselves.
Come on.
Bite. They're only white wolves.
Do you know who I am? Go on.
We don't have time to get.
Pad. Over towards the palace. Are you saying anything as you dress her, as you move into the palace itself?
Well, listen.
There is nobody here.
An Ostlander came to see me. An Imperial Ostlander.
Oh, okay. So, have you met them before? Oh, okay, fine. Sure. Okay, fine.
Oh, you mean that particular one, not the Imperial Ostlanders in general. I see your question now.
Yes.
Ada,
Pardon? Yes, you know exactly who it is.
who is it?
Sievers.
Yes.
Why are you
it
even
is-
asking?
It is the Imperial Ostlander, Stevens.
Oh, okay.
The Elector Count of Ostland is extremely worried about the war. And I think he wants to meet us outside the city. We need to get everyone together as soon as possible.
There's a chance that was overheard.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
Of course you didn't know. Was it or not?
Well, you have to tell me at some point.
As now dressed. How is she dressed?
Sensible-ish shoes. Imperial.
She's got shoes on. Excellent.
Sensible shoes.
sensible shoes.
The heel
No,
is less than 3 inches.
what I'm saying is
Velcro.
normal on the top, sensible shoes on the bottom.
And are we talking Imperial or Nipponese?
Will you duck my aristocracy status if I would dress Nipponese?
If you dress Nipponese, then yes, you will not be getting your aristocratic benefit, except for those who understand the nature of your clothing. A lot of people will think you're just a circus performer.
That's fair. We're kind of incognitoing, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So,
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, as you pile your way down, and the next step is more difficult. Finding Birdie. She, has been being trained by the Knights Panther, but she could be almost anywhere, including outside the city itself, because that's where they do most of their training for horse riding. And she has been in and out a lot, and from what you've heard, is doing really well. She's coming on. It's been 2 months worth of actual training now. The easiest way to find out is just to simply go over to the main walls between them and ask.
It's Birdie in.
Could you
Is-
Birdie quite
is-
dull.
what is she?
Good.
What is she? What's her title? Lady Knight von Helstein? Or her first name?
Her first name, of House Elstein.
Is that your name?
Brunhilde.
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 Yeah.
Birdie.
Yep.
That's why I call myself Birdie. It's much easier.
We're there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are seeking Lady Knight Brunhilde von Helstein. Is she in?
The big gates that lead through to the compound that the Knights Panther use for their training. Knight looks at you, pops up his visor, and goes, bloody cold, isn't it? He says, as he looks at you. I admit, I'm a little surprised, Your Imperial Highness, to see you. He says, out wearing what you were wearing. Was that, would one call it a napkin?
It was a religious matter.
Oh, of course. He says, of course.
The Lady Knight?
He says, yeah, she's in temple, I believe.
Here is the temple inside.
You know that none of the temples that they attended outside in the city are any longer standing. So yes, it's in
Yeah.
the compound.
Can we come in?
He says, well, I couldn't exactly stop you.
Excellent.
He says, I mean, I could, but I would be wrong to do so. As you both make your way through the gate. One of the knights on the other side said, that was surprisingly formal. Bill goes, I know. Do you think something's up? Sam,
Master Spy. Looking in my real shadow.
as there's a creak of metal as they turn round through the gate to look at your receding behinds as you make your way
Always
in.
keep them guessing.
On the inside, the large area to your right-hand side where they often do their training on big circles, there's an entire array of things to jump horses over in the next area. And of course, the big main hall where the Knights Panther gather. But it's not there. You have to go down past the Middenball field that they have there to the temple at the back. Crunching through the snow to get down there, there's some Knights Panther already on the outside fencing. I'm moving backwards and forwards, their tops off even though it's freezing. They all stop to bow as the pair of you pass by. And you get about a 15-minute wait sitting outside the Temple of Sigmar as they finish off their sermon.
Myself.
You can hear the priest in there giving, let's just sum it up with a few short lines. We understand that these are difficult times, he says. After all, not one temple in this city. To the Empire's founder still stands with a priest at its head. But here, good sense and a strong empire is still understood. It is not, strictly speaking, one of those Sigmarite sermons where they talk about what Sigmar did when he was a lad, when he was emperor, when he eventually abdicated and left. Nope, it's just, let's sum it up with a, holy shit, everything's gone wrong. We need to work together to ensure it gets right. And you Knights Panther, are in a position where you can influence. Oh, the unspoken part is obvious. Talk to Boris. Bring the war to an end, says the priest, who's still in probably the only Temple of Sigmar in Middenheim that's still open. Eventually, Birdie comes out. She's in armor, much like the rest of them. None of them have their helms on, as they're all coming out chatting away amongst themselves. As they see the two princesses, they all bow on their way by, as is, of course, correct. As they pass by to the other side, what started off as, yep, he's doing the same thing again, really, he needs to come up with a better sermon. Seriously, it's the third one this week, which is basically all of us together. We already know, and that turns into, who are the princesses here to see? What are they doing here? Isn't that one pretty? As they go by the other side, and Birdie eventually slides out. And you see at the side, Princess Alamenewaith and Princess Ume. Clearly waiting for someone, and by the way they're looking directly at you, very possibly
Master
you.
Spy.
Hello, are you waiting for me?
Yes, we are.
Oh, thank God, please don't make me go back in there again. It's so boring.
We thought that we could go for a drink, perhaps.
Yes, let's do
Cielo?
that. That's a brilliant idea.
It quickly becomes clear that they're intending on actually seeing Elric, and they don't want to do it noisily.
Okay.
Long cloaks, no armor. That's how, half an hour later, they arrive at the Guild of Magic in Middenheim. The Guild of Magic is, let's very quickly sum it up, it's effectively a university building for magic in Middenheim, not far away from the Collegium Theologica, which is the core university of Middenheim. And it has been for many generations a centre of study for the Blue Wind and the Gold Wind. But recently, there had been a change. Now, sitting at the side, above the main doors, sits the rune of the Bright College, the key of Actuate, carved into the stone freshly. It has already around it several char marks. There was a certain amount of dissatisfaction amongst the local bright wizards that it didn't feel like a bright college. So they have gone out of their way in their particular areas to leave burn marks, to heat the stone, and in particular, in the small area that they now hold as their own, to fill it with heat. In one fashion or another. Largely because they literally can't channel without it. The buildings are not set up for bright wizards at all. And the first week and a half of being here was a nightmare. Attempting to channel was basically difficulty 10 on a base test. Rising to difficulty 20 at peaks for the other wins, meaning that it was effectively impossible to channel in the building. So for the next 2 or 3 weeks, an awful lot of their first job was re-kitting and reorganizing where they were. Banking up fires. It's already bad enough that we're moving into winter, but banking up fires, getting wood in for more fires, casting long-term rituals that meant that the fire would never go out, ever. Blasting the walls with actually, which has left many a char and many a burnt-out area, to try and remove the existing heavy layers of shaman in the walls that had gathered in everything metal in this place to try and drive it out. But just channeling that in the first place was hard. It's reached the point now where it's difficulty 8 to channel inside their part of the college. Currently, difficulty 15 for the rest of it. But their part of the Guild of Magic has got it down to difficulty 8, meaning that an apprentice, of which they currently have 4, an apprentice still can't channel.
It's probably safer that way.
If they sit right beside a fire, they might be able to manipulate the fire a bit if they're lucky. But if you're just sitting in the center of the room, difficulty 8. Go right up to the edge and it might get as low as difficulty 2. That's possible. Difficulty 2 is possible.
Set yourself
for a
on
beginner.
fire.
Yeah. 4 new apprentices, all of whom have been not shaved because, in the words of Lord Magister Slaughter, what's the point? They're never going to channel any wind to actually burn the hair off anyway. I'm not going to say it's a fool's errand, Elric, he says, but I'm going to say this is going to be hard. And I do like a challenge.
Should be hard to start. It'll make them stronger.
And you call them dicks.
They are. Just different.
Coming into the Guild of Magic involves coming in, speaking to the receptionist who looks up
Adorable.
with a pair of round spectacles on, hooked right round his ear and tucked in so that it doesn't fall off. Partly that's an issue. As she looks up and she says, "Yes."
We're here to see Magister Elric of the Bright Order.
Right. One of the new professors says, "Course," says, "I will have it known that you are here." She does something behind the counter, tall wooden counter, and you hear a thump noise
Fabulous.
as it clatters in where you are. Not for you to respond to. It's the apprentices. Whenever a message comes from the guild, the apprentices have to take it over towards one of the magisters, which you are indeed one of. You are not the one that's presented it, though. Instead, it's Magister Rangrun Grumfeld, who opens it up and goes, "It's for you." And looks at you. "It's for you."
Who is it?
Fuck knows.
Just
Says,
someone
"No,
for
just
me."
for you. Reception.
Maybe one in the group. Okay, keep doing what's going on here, and good work.
The 4 apprentices, are currently sitting cross-legged, attempting between them all to light a candle. A basic piece of channeling that in the Bright College is really easy. But here, even you're drawing a bead of sweat sometimes just to get the stupid thing to light. Slaughter finds this whole setup ridiculous, but also exceedingly amusing. It takes around about 15 minutes before eventually Elric arrives. And yes,
Technically, his staff is helping everybody,
Yeah,
channel.
it is. It's just made it harder as it leaves. See ya, apprentices. Good luck.
Beginning to smoke as well.
You've almost got it. You've almost got it. All right, fight.
Enough in reception, sitting down in the hardwood chairs at the side, the cold wind coming in by the front door, even though it's shut, is 3 becloaked individuals, all of whom look really like they don't belong here.
Welcome to the college. What's going on?
Can we talk somewhere more private?
Or grabbing a drink.
Oh, yeah. Go for a drink.
Going for a drink turns out to not be quite going for a drink. Or at least
Yes,
yet.
Again, Al, you have lied and tricked me.
You put me up to it.
As you make your way around to the Middenplatz, not the Middenplatz, pardon me, the main square of marshals, where the state armies are constantly drilling just now. The large open square in front of the palace, surrounded by noble buildings. One of those noble households is indeed the household of Schmiedhammer.
Oh.
Schmiedhammer is hobbling around on one crutch now. His wounds never properly healed in a fashion that means he can walk freely.
Oh.
And as he answers the door, Schmiedhammer is more Schmiedhammer. There's a lot more of him. He has put on quite a lot of weight. He's heavy around the gut. He's got a bit of weight around his jowls as well, as he opens up and goes, "Oh, who are you here for?" Both of them frequent here, but you can't be certain they'll be here.
Whoever's in.
He
Is
says,
anyone in?
"Right, one I know. The other one, though, I couldn't be sure." He says, "Come on in, we'll get you a drink." He says, "Come in."
It's nice to
He
see you
says,
again.
"Weather's turned foul, isn't it?" As he looks up. "Barely any snow." He says, "Oh, it's a Middenland thing." He says,
I've missed this.
as he comes in, I sacked me, as you know, never mind. I'll get you a drink myself. Give me a moment. In fact, who you foot with me? Whichever. Oh,
No, where are the drinks? I'll get them. You're...
thanks, Ulrich. He says, I'll go find. He'll be upstairs.
I'll go upstairs.
He says, no. He asked not to be disturbed. I'll go upstairs. He says, "Don't you worry," as he pulls himself up the stairs. "I can do just fine. Get yourselves comfortable. We'll maybe make you some toast." He says, he makes his way up. And tap, tap, tap on your door. Inside, you're sitting cross-legged in front of a bowl of water. The bowl of water is currently steaming, because underneath it, there is a single candle. And you have been trying so very hard to make that mist move. On the other side is Sigfeder. Sigfeder is wearing a long, loose robe, something you can just toss over your head and be done with. And he looks drawn. His face sunken in, and his normally spiky hair all flattened down and hanging limp and greasy. As he twitches and goes, "We got fucking visitors. We got visitors, Gerhard. We got visitors."
No, one moment. I'm almost. I think I'm getting it.
You're
If I just have a moment, I can.
You're not. He says, You're not. Just leave it for the moment. He says, as the door knocks.
Right. Okay. All right.
See, as I said, there's someone coming for
Right.
you. And
Fine.
the door opens, and there is Schmiedhammer. Sticks his head in and says, "Right, we got, aye, whatever. You're disturbing us again." Disturbing us again. He looks up. "Aye, all right. No, you're right. You're right. Fuck. No, you better fucking go. It's for you. It's for you."
Right.
As Schmiedhammer goes, it is for you. It's your friends.
Oh, good. Right. Okay. He quickly makes himself.
I was going to make toast for them.
Oh, good. Okay, fine.
He
I'll
says,
have
"Do you
a
fancy some toast?"
toast?
He says, "I'll melt some cheese on it if you want."
Yep, no, that's good. Let me find some better clothes.
He says, he goes, "You better get dressed." He says, "You better get dressed." Fuck.
Do you want me to send anything up?
No.
Do you want any?
Yeah, bright wizards here.
Okay. Well, that's
I can smell them.
how.
Fucking
black deodorant.
Stop it.
And we'll catch up with that on that one. Do you want anything?
I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Sure?
I'll be fine. In fact,
Right.
no, I'll be fine.
I can make something before. I
No,
go.
just go. All right, just go.
Okay. Right. I can put this. Doctor's
As he pushes his head down on the floor and he just passes out on the wooden floor.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll pop a little like I don't know.
Not like his cloak over him.
No, I was thinking like ye olde paracetamol, like next to him. Whatever. Like, I see you. I've got some painkillers type thing.
Well, you've got yourself a herbal drink that you can place
Yes,
inside.
that'll do.
Absolutely.
I'll pop that next to him. I'll do a little quickie. Why not? Okay.
Pull a cloak over him as well as he grumbles, already asleep, as a bead of sweat is rolling down his brow.
Must to myself, it's interesting I always end up looking after the old folks after they start going. Anyway, books.
As you reach the door, you hear "No!" coming from him as he wakes up.
It's all right.
How long was it this time?
Seconds.
Really?
I made you a drink. Drink that. It might help.
Listen, Gerhard. You can't sleep near me. You just can't sleep near me. All right?
Okay.
You just can't. As he moves up and he takes the drink without saying thank you or equivalent and just necks it. Puts it down. He doesn't complain about the bitter taste.
I was gonna say that's hot as well.
Yeah. He just and then just falls into the corner of the room. Shit, you gotta go. Go. Just don't worry, just go.
Close the door.
Tap, 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 tap. He's sitting on the outside. He seems like he's in fine shape today.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
Says. Did you hear him calling last night?
I did, yes. Has he let anyone clean in there or anything like that? Because I tried a little bit, but then you start listening to that.
No.
Okay.
Six comes down. Aye, your friends are here.
Yes, no, good.
He says.
Which ones?
Right, wait a minute. I remember their names. Right, first, Elric, know him well. He says the two princesses, that's the elf and I forget her name.
Right.
You know the other one? The short one. The princess. You know, she's foreign.
Yes, no, you met.
Aye,
Yeah.
aye, and of course your Knight's Panther pal.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
Aye, they're down right now.
Right. Is Leopold in? They out?
I don't know.
Okay.
You know what he's like. He's out all hours just now. He might be asleep in his room. I was thinking of going up and checking.
Okay, probably is already getting ready if he's had
I don't know.
this conversation.
I mean, he was out last time I went by his room. I mean, zonked out.
Right.
Never seen a man look like he was so deep in sleep. It's middle of the afternoon.
Yes, it's strange how he keeps sort of completely spacing out. I thought he would sort of snooze a bit and then hear when you know.
Well, get yourself downstairs.
Okay.
And off he goes.
Is Lucas and Marguerite around as well?
Lucas and Marguerite are over in the palace.
Okay, they are, but they are in the city.
Yeah, they are in the city.
Cool, lovely.
And indeed, it's your friends.
Right. Now, everyone, how are we all doing? Good? All cloaked up?
Somebody mentioned a drink.
Oh, yes.
No, I've got drinks.
It's
I know
no
this down
is.
Maybe.
Leopold, you're shaking awake. Hey up. It's Schmiedhammer.
Yeah?
He says, aye, your pals. Oh, which ones?
Yeah. Who?
All right, aye. Your old pals.
Oh.
It says,
Cheers.
I don't know how many there are. Different numbers every time you come in. He says, there's, I mean, if we include Gerard, he's there as well. That's 5. He says, Lucas, he ain't there. He says, the princess is there. The, Elstein, Knight's Panther, she's there. Oh, and Elric the wizard. He says, "Want some toast?" He says,
Toast me, lovely.
"I feel like you barely slept." He says, "Oh, I'm just about to go put some toast on. Would you like cheese in it as well? I could even melt it if you want."
Oh, yeah.
He says, "All right." He says, as he hobbles his way down the stairs, "Just this way," which you can hear going on upstairs as Leopold is making his way down. He goes, "Oh, aye, right, of course."
I only want to say this once, so we'll wait for him.
Okay, all right. Is Schmiedhammer? No, hang on. Who's this guy again? Schmiedhammer. Yes. Has he always been this absent-minded, somewhat?
He's always been drunk ever since he got wounded.
True. Yeah. Has he always? Well, I mean, because we've spent some time here. Now.
Yeah, quite.
Has
And
he
yes,
been-
this is very much him. He's just relaxed into a sort of, doesn't really leave home very much. All of his women have left him, and basically gossiping about the upcoming war.
Okay.
He's been put out the pasture.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a country and western song waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And then his dog died. Exactly. That's exactly the type of country western song he
Wait,
is.
did he
You just
have a
wait to
dog?
come. No, he didn't.
Okay.
So you're fine.
going to have to buy him a dog.
Not if it's going to die. Get an immortal dog. Where's the Doom Lord?
It's a dog for you.
Clack, 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 clack. In comes the bone dog.
He will chase his own bones.
He's very efficient. Feeds himself. Down in the main sitting room where you're all gathering as Schmiedhammer is through in the kitchens, which are downstairs in another room, happily sorting out some toast. Everybody gathers.
I got a visitor. The ambassador, Sievers. The Elector Count of Ostland wants to meet with us outside the city. He is extremely worried about the direction the Empire is taking.
Over in the Wolfenpalats, just 2 hours earlier, Almenowith had met with Colonel Sievers. Colonel Sievers is not wearing the black and white uniform that he is known for down in the south. In fact, he could be as far removed from the great hero of the Penny Dreadfuls that were spread around Altdorf as you could get, dressed as a courtier in green and blue with gold detail, all of which are picked out like waves across his clothing. Colours of his homeland, Severhof, on the very north coast of Ostland. As he had got to you after having had a word with the princess. A private meeting in a chamber which, upon request, had no one in the walls. I have an open request to you and your Jaegers.
Well, what is it?
I haven't said this.
Right.
But an interested party, my Elector Count, believes that Middenland, Middenheim, Altdorf, Reichland, now all of them can't be trusted. That they only have one interest now, and that's war. Where our Elector Count is less interested in that and more interested in outcomes. He recently, and I shan't tell you what it is that he is directly considering, but he recently came to a conclusion that should any of those parties succeed in what they intend to do, that the Empire is more than likely to fracture permanently. And he asked me whom I thought was most likely to be trustworthy in these difficult times, and by that he means most likely to move against the prevailing wind, even should they be aboard a ship that requires it. He says, in other words, Who's most likely to betray the Electrocount?
I got it.
And as we discussed last time, you are a unique individual with rather unique interests. And they lie outside of Middenheim. He made it very clear. So I discussed with him your party, which of course he'd seen because you were underneath the aegis of Middenheim at the time and you were being questioned by the Electrocounts. He thought that you were Boris's people, to which I said, I think that that is a generous description. They are currently underneath his protection and they work for him, but they also work for themselves and what they believe is the best outcome, which is not necessarily the same result that Boris might require. After some persuasion, he has agreed to meet with you. Tomorrow.
Well,
Emperor's Hammer. Do you know it? Emperor's Hammer, you not only know it well, in that you know the name. It's come up before in stream. Emperor's Hammer is one of the largest coaching inns on the road between Middenheim down to Talabheim. But most importantly, it's also
on the river.
On the river. And it's where the foot shover birthed while it waited for you.
Oh, of course.
It's also where, when you fled Altdorf, you told the foot shover to return to. So very likely, the foot shover may even be there.
I don't like that coincidence, but maybe he came by river. I know it well.
He says, yes, I know you do. He says, so he's willing to meet with you tomorrow morning, 8 bell, when it's still dark, which means if you want to actually make that meeting, you will need to leave, I would suggest, now. Gather your people, determine whether they want to go with you or not. The Electrocount, though, is summoning. That means that at least one of them should reply. And it is an official summons, he says, as he passes out the scroll. He says, to the magisters of the Empire.
Right.
I think you'll like what he has to say. I can't trust anything here. I can't trust that we won't be overheard. So I'm not going to say what he's going to say, but I will say this. Given your own proclivities and the proclivities of your group and the things that you have previously shown interest in, you want to meet him.
I understand. Also, I have an 8-shilling retainer, so...
He says, exactly. I will warn you, though. If you're bringing the priest, make sure he's in disguise.
Right. It's better.
In fact, I would recommend you all are.
Right.
I do mean you all.
Right. All right, thank you. Is it really bad out there?
You should get out of the palace more, princess.
Right.
You should get out of the palace more, princess. You have been wasting your time.
Right.
He says, good evening. Makes his way out.
Hush.
Right.
So, back in the room, you still have that little scroll.
I got a summons for you.
It has the seal of Ostland upon it. The bull.
If I don't read it, doesn't mean it won't work.
If you receive it, that's it, yeah. And in there, it says, Magister Elric of House Grumfeld, you are summoned to the attendance of Crown Prince Hans Hals of House Tassening, Electrocount of Ostland, to receive orders of dire importance to the Empire. These supersede all orders from all Electrocounts that are not directly related to war, because this is war. And it's underlined. And then a completely different handwriting at the bottom, Hans Hals. Swish, 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 swish.
Kiss, have kiss.
Because he's never been summoned by Boris.
Nope,
he's only
never.
employed by
Yeah, he's
Boris.
employed by
yeah.
Everyone should read that. I don't want to say it out loud. I already should probably.
I will.
Except, Leopold
I will
can't
whisper.
read it.
I will whisper it in Cazalit. Will that do?
Oh.
Nicely done.
Yes.
Do yourself a Cazalet test.
Shit.
I also need to do one.
Yeah.
You are being summoned for ice
Cazalet
cream.
whispered. Well, one side is passed. Let's see about the other.
So whatever he says, you'll understand.
Yeah.
Spend 3 and 4 pence. We're going for a dance.
Purple
passed
monkey
as well.
dishwasher.
One success.
That's enough. You can just pass on the message.
2 successes actually.
Perfect.
Speed reading.
No, that's not going to help him.
That would help you.
No. That
Yes,
helps you
he's
read
not
it.
reading it.
When read no, because you're explaining it.
translating it.
Fine.
Nice
Okay.
try. It's not about how quickly you read. But yes.
He just mutters
Those
quickly
2
in your ear.
sentences.
Super number. There's 2 sentences.
I spend more time doing less time doing the reading, more time doing the speaking.
I know this is going to sound like a silly thing, but have we become a bit of a force?
Well,
Or are we just becoming Fall Guys? Because I've got a new name for us if we're becoming a bit of a, call them in. You'll like this.
Oh, yeah, no.
It could be the G team.
No,
I like
They
it.
hit the spot.
It's-
Anyway.
I like it.
I didn't before, now I do.
I did before. Now I do.
Say it again.
And again. And again. So. Aluminum.
So I think we should go.
Well, I have to.
Mhm.
we'll come with you.
I've got my disguise kit. I think we need to be in disguise. That was the recommendation, and I think we need to go now.
On that, what's Leopold wearing when he does come down?
Nothing remotely priestly at all.
I'm glad you finished
normal.
that sentence.
Nothing at all. It's very dark clothes
Dark clothing
and quite thick padded.
and a cloak
And
as
a
well.
cloak.
And with a hood.
And a scarf. And a
Yeah.
hood.
Are we going to go?
He looks hardly anything like normal Leopold then.
This is excellent. I don't feel very well.
Okay. One,
Can you do that breathing thing you do?
as in breathe.
Yes, and tell me to breathe. Tell me to breathe.
Right. No, look in the eyes.
Right.
Look at me. Count. You know the counting thing?
Yes,
we
I
did?
know the counting thing.
Big breath in. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. Big one out. 3, 2, 1. And just cycle through that, okay? All right?
It'll be fine.
You're good. You're powerful. You're strong.
Down in the city itself, as you make your way to head towards the gates and presumably move towards the Emperor's Hammer.
Elric would have tried to run back to the guild because he'd have to change because
Yeah.
no disguise in here.
Yeah, quite.
Couple of things to do.
And just be like, I'm away for a few days. Talk soon.
It might also be wise to get yourself some horses to get there at a decent time because you're going to be traveling at night
Mhm.
and you might want to outrun something.
I know a man who's good at making deals.
You're right, horse.
Yes, we can.
You
Finally.
can get carriage. Do you want a carriage? Do you want a carriage? It's cold out there. I want a carriage.
What's more clandestine?
Clandestine
Definitely
horses.
not carriage.
Definitely not horses.
Nobody can see in a carriage. Who's in that carriage? Do you know?
No, because you have to hire it. We'll just get horses.
It's okay. If 3 of us can ride a horse, you can just
You
hold
can
on.
come on the back with someone.
Oh, the juice boss.
Oh dear.
I'm just checking. Can I actually ride a horse? Can any?
I think it's a basic skill, so everyone can do it.
Can everyone
Um,
do it?
Yeah, it's considered to be something that everybody can do to at least a small degree.
Small degree being the
Oh,
operative
you're
word.
getting better.
Oh, I'm
You're getting a lot
I'm
better.
fine. I have.
You're probably the best in the
I'm
party.
looking advances.
What's it under?
And she's got
Agility.
she's
Oh,
got
Oh,
15
right.
advances.
Oh, no, I can't ride a horse.
You're going to be holding on tight.
Rough Rider.
She's got rough riders. She do like trick rides at the side.
Surprisingly, that's not what you think it is.
Yeah, I only had to.
G-spot.
I only had to fall off a couple of times before I thought, screw that. I'm going to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
You are more than well enough connected that you can get a horse each if you wish to do so. Riding doesn't require a test. Riding just allows you to go. You only do tests when you're galloping, jumping
Fleeing.
over things,
Ah.
fleeing at speed or some equivalent.
Do we think we're likely to be going away or coming back?
It's a good question.
maybe we should take a pack horse as well and take our stuff with us.
And that does lead another question. Are we going to contact Lucas? Do you want
Yes.
him to come along as well?
He's not.
I mean, it's not my involved, but
Yeah, Lucas is currently in the palace, and underneath the name Lucas Mueller.
I think we should take him.
Am I required to bring my squire wherever
No,
I
you're not.
go? So,
You're not required to bring anyone with you at all. You're now more than well trained enough that they expect you to be able to do your own thing. You can take your squire if you wish to do so, but given this is a clandestine meeting, you might be wise not to do so.
He's seen far too much.
He has already. Poor sanity blasting events
He's
that
going to be
been
in
involved with.
therapy forever.
Yeah.
I thought he was dead.
No. He's still alive and kicking.
I gave up a fate point for him because you shamed me into it.
Yeah, and then I lost that H person anyway. Waste of a fake point.
So,
Lucas is a political
good to always have.
I think we should take him.
Also, like, we don't want him to be going to war.
Exactly.
He's living down in the Kralaplatz, down at the bottom. You're up at the top floors. He's down at the bottom. You barely see each other. As he'll be like, right, you want me to come along on an undisclosed journey to somewhere undisclosed? Perfect.
To
He
be
says,
good old times.
I'll get a horse. He says, do you require anything else, Mum?
Horses are everyone.
he's got deal making. To do them all.
Bring a gun.
Yeah, we might need provisions and, like, we might be gone for a while.
You are a guest of the palace. It's not exactly going to be difficult to get hold of.
Maybe.
No.
We don't. This is a clandestine mission. We need to get all this stuff as clandestinely as possible.
Well, I'm sorry to say that won't happen. If you're taking it, it will be known. So the alternative would be taking coin and buying it when you're in the city. He says, but then you'll be buying things and people will note what you've bought.
Could we be going out for a hunting party?
I think it's more clandestine to take it from the palace, in the sense that
Less people are going to be talking about it.
yeah, well, if we don't take it from the palace and we buy it in the city, then the palace knows that we didn't want them to know.
Yes.
Whereas if we just take it and
But that's
say
what I mean, like a hunting party, like, we'll tell the
A
palace.
religious thing
Yeah, or a religious.
for you.
Yeah.
for the
Oh, yeah.
yeah, a Nipponese ceremony.
It's a whole Nipponese thing.
Yeah.
Oh dear, is it one of those ceremonies? He says,
Yeah.
oh, the big belly is those Nipponese. As he pops off, I'm going to have to get quite a lot of food.
For the spirit.
Yes.
I like it.
I was thinking the princess, he says.
Hey!
Oh.
It's all muscle.
And booze. Booze.
He says, oh, it's Gerhard here. Gerhard!
Yes, hello, nice to see you, big
He says,
hug.
how's it going?
I love that they're huggers now.
It's going well, thank you.
Is it going well or is it just going?
It's
Yeah, I understand. He says,
complicated.
I've got food that I need to collect, apparently booze.
Okay, have you seen my Buckwheat?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
She's over in the other palace and she doesn't really take guests.
She'll take me, I'm sure.
I'm sure she might. Are you going now?
Have we got time? Probably not. Maybe not.
Which palace is she in? The
she's-
main one?
yeah,
or
she's in the main
Catalina
palace.
one? Let's not go to the main palace.
It's a silly place.
It's just a
No,
model.
okay, maybe not. Maybe not.
I'll get the food. You decide what you want to do with
Fair enough.
her.
Yeah, lovely to see you.
And off he goes.
Before we left, the other S, Sigfeder and Schmiedhammer, thank you. Sievers as well, like, this is a nightmare. I made a list with instructions for Schmiedhammer to be able to make said herbal brew for
Nice.
Sigfrid.
Love it.
thank you.
I'll do something Nepalese about endings. And leave it like a flower arrangement about
I see.
endings.
You are going to say goodbye to the palace and the spirits that
Yes.
reside within.
Yes.
Yeah, that seems fair. Write yourself a small haiku.
Yes.
So,
Wait, I have.
Yes, indeed.
do you just want?
I don't think.
Write yourself a bad haiku.
Four fails.
Brush it out badly. The spirits are offended. Fortunately, they are mostly here dead, so it doesn't really matter.
Yes.
If you had been in the pawn, this would not have been good. But you're not. You're in the spiritually dead palace of Middenheim that recently got bloated up. So, hey, it's fine.
Do you want to say goodbye to her, or do you want to ask her to come along?
Oh,
As Lucas comes up with the bags.
Interested more in her research, actually.
Says,
I think.
well, you might want to, send a note, but if you do, then everybody will know you've sent a note.
Yeah. Okay.
Says, these things aren't quiet in this place.
I know.
Says, as he pops it up onto the saddlebags.
Maybe it's just maybe we.
There's a clink, clink, clink of bottles.
I mean, it's not.
Nice.
Everyone knows that we are engaged to be married, so there's nothing strange about going to see your future.
Have you seen her in the last 2 months?
Yes.
No.
I know that.
I can send a message in Eltharine to Katerina to get her to tell Margaret.
Yes, you could. Definitely.
I can get Katerina to tell her. I'll send a note.
All right. Okay.
I'll go get my armor.
Yeah, I'll get changes.
And that is how we eventually, now not caparisoned for war, but most certainly organised for clandestine activities with all of our war stacked away into bags. Yes,
Yes.
clattering
More for
away.
an adventure.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, you're there to
It's a
protect me,
special
right?
operation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how we find ourselves leaving the causeway of Middenheim. Along the causeway, there are many a figure hanging in gibbets. Some of them nailed up onto walls on the inside of the great towers as you make your way down there. All of them sporting hammer symbols.
Don't look they're cold.
And both spits as we cross the gate.
Nicely done. You're not the only one who spits at said things.
Are we wearing wolf medals?
If we're incognito, no.
No,
We could have
They're-
them with us.
they're
but
in our
just-
bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
As we make our way, click, clop, click, clop, click, clop, click, clop, down the causeway, until eventually you're moving into the early evening night air of the surrounds of Middenheim. Here, it is mostly rough land and occasional cropland sitting between it, often moving in thin strips of land that have been half flattened or sitting on odd angles. It is a rather mountainous area. Middenheim, if it's besieged, is both impossible to besiege and altogether too easy because there is not a lot of local food.
Is from an Elric's position, isn't there a load of dwarven runes on the causeway that keep it warm?
There was something.
There's
I don't
all
know if it was
manner
warm.
of dwarven stuff on the
Yeah.
causeways.
There was something strong.
There was something with channeling.
Fortified. You thought
Yeah.
it fortified the causeway and that you might be able to collapse it. That's what I
And we're out. The chill air on our faces as we make a gentle half canter away from the city. Lots of surrounding villages, small towers, watchtowers up higher in the mountains as Middenheim slowly recedes behind you. But this close to the main city itself, it is, broadly speaking, mostly urban rather than rural, before eventually we pass out of the surrounds of Middenheim and into the surrounding forests. It's dark, and you're intending on making your way down the main road through the night. Potentially very dangerous. Let's find out how dangerous. Dice of Doom.
You're absolutely convinced it was definitely Seavers. It
Dice
wasn't
of
an elaborate
Doom.
trap.
And and two of you who I would like you before you roll. We're not rolling
Okay,
yet.
so what I
Two
rolled
of
doesn't
you-
count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. Two of you who I would like you to nominate yourselves before we roll will be modifying your roll by 1 to match someone else's roll if you can.
Oh.
So who is going to nominate themselves
Before we
for
do
that?
can I do divination before we set off?
Oh, of course. Yes, that seems to be very much the sort of thing you would do.
Modifying it in terms of we have to use a fortune
Oh,
point.
no. I will modify it by
We're just-
1 to somebody else's number.
I
So
volunteer because I've got
6 fortune points.
that sounds good. Luck skill is great. 8.
I'll do it.
So that's those two. Excellent. So everyone do the roll. Let's see what we get.
It's just a dice
Fun.
of doom.
3,
1.
7. 9.
3.
Okay, so you don't need to modify yours, it's already on.
They both
And then
have done
1 moves to 2, which means you're safe. Okay, so your one doesn't, which means there's only 2 people on 3, so it only requires a single fortune point to avoid whatever is out there.
But you can move it back.
No, he can't.
No, I
it's
can't.
It's moved now.
It's already moved.
It's moved
Now
once.
you've got
now
the-
you've got the chance.
Yeah. Now you've got a chance to move it off if
Very
you wish.
good.
Yes. So you actually rolled
It
really
was
well.
forcing us to spend the fortune
Interesting.
point.
I feel like we've breezed through these quite a lot recently.
Yeah, you've been doing quite well recently.
I might not move it.
No, move it.
I might not.
There is fortunately
But
2
he
people
can
on 3.
Move it.
No, I like living dangerous. I've got 3 fate points again, so Elric will never die.
I'll spend this one.
1 fortune point.
This is not a side stream, people. It's not a
Okay, that's a
flashback.
good
How
point.
much
We've
fun do
got a
we have in
special
side
one.
streams?
Yes, everyone except for Garhard.
We have a special look. Yeah,
Yeah, what happened
except
last
for
week?
you.
But is it just a one
Fuck
use?
Joe.
1 use.
Right.
But we can use
That
it for
being the
pretty much
case.
anything.
It's the father who brings the entire party to a stop because he hears up ahead something he has heard more than once these last 2 months. Assassins. And he's in a position to make a choice. Do you wish to move on would-be assassins or not? Because he can hear them. And they're muttering. It's a sound he's heard more than once. Prayers to Ulrich. These are the children of Ulrich. And they are just praying on the roads, looking for anyone that may be potentially an enemy of theirs. And they have caused you some recent harm. And they have tried to kill you more than once. And you can hear them muttering their prayers. Not certain. I mean, there could be a lot, there could be some. Perception test.
Like 6 successes?
You're hearing at least 20 muttering prayers.
Definitely.
There's maybe 20 of them.
Do you know where they are?
Speak quieter, Carl.
Okay.
Do you know where they are? Right. Is that, can you see? I can't really see this. Do you have battle? They're hiding off in the... No. No? There's... Flash it in battle tunnel.
Off the
20 of them up on the ridge, up ahead, and around the corner, so they can't see you yet, unless they've got
Is there
scouts
like
out.
corpses of
Yeah.
trees?
This is trees everywhere on both sides of the road,
Ideal.
Off road.
and it's dark.
Just blow them up. Just do that. That's you. You can.
It's not very incognito,
Can we
though, is
not
it?
just gallop? Just make a run for it. They're not expecting us.
Have balls.
Just
It's,
crouch down.
it's in the dark.
It's
The
in the
chances
dark.
they'll be able to hit you are low.
I'm going to load a gun.
I'm going to fall off my horse.
There are
Gallop.
quite a few people who are not very good at riding.
What if some of us gallop whilst the other ones try and sneak, and it'll make the sneaking easier because they'll be distracted by the galloping people?
Or how about we just put the people that can't ride that well in the middle and we just gallop as a herd? Horses just gallop. You don't need to do anything.
So I get trampled.
No, you just be on
You
the
just
horse.
have to hold on.
Just let the horse do
It might be better if you don't feel comfortable with riding, to sit in with someone who can. And they can do the riding, and you can just sit up front, so to speak. Or hold on very tightly.
Yes.
That's the right ability.
I can
How
run.
bad are you?
Lucas is fine. He's noble. He knows how to ride.
But you can get on
I mean,
my
I'm only like 10 better than you.
Yeah.
You go with Birdie.
get on my long lead yours.
We'll have a spare horse then, won't we?
We
That
can
we
read
can
it.
put a fake person on.
If anything happens to my horse, I will kill you and everyone in this
We've also
party.
got pack horses as well. But yeah.
And let
That seems massively
shoot at them
complicated.
if they shoot. No, it's fine. No fake hog humans. It's too complicated.
Ruffle, do you need to change horse as well? Because like you can't see.
Well, I mean, seeing's not a problem, but I'm not a great rider.
Hold on tight and hope.
Someone just Leroy Jenkins it. Just kick your horse and just go. End this conversation.
Okay, so
That's what I mean. If you just ride in
you're
a
just going to
free,
gallop
like,
as fast
I
as
mean,
you
you're only
can
gonna
through this
fall
area.
off.
I
You
start
fumble,
thinking.
Yeah.
Wait.
That's
Whilst-
not true.
whilst
That's not
I
awful.
agree. What about if they have trapped the road? What if that? Can you hear if there's a tree down, etc.? I mean, you can't.
I mean, I
If a
could
tree's
probably
already
sneak up
fallen in the
for it.
woods,
If you want
no
to
one's there
sneak
hear it,
ahead,
you
yeah, you
can't
can see it.
I will scout ahead.
Let's
Good idea.
consider this.
hear it. Yes.
Right, do yourself stealth. In fact, you've got
I've got the
rural.
Yep.
We're out.
Silent step.
Is it silent step rural though?
Yep, and Aether. I've got it.
Sweet.
Too.
Okay, so then yes, they won't. So unless they're specifically looking for you, which they're not. Okay, so do your test, please. Let's just make sure you don't fumble.
6, 7, 8 successes.
That's more than enough. Okay, as you creep forward, along with snow,
Sorry, 7.
you catch where you think they probably are. You stop. You listen. You can hear them mumbling in the distance. So they're up there, and they do have a vantage point, you presume, looking down over a curve in the road. It's a shallow one that moves back again. So they're sort of hidden from coming from this direction, and from the other direction, they can see clearly what's coming. So they're in a position where they're clearly...
So they're trying to ambush people who are coming towards
Presumably,
Middenheim.
yes. Okay, and they'd catch people going the other way as well, you'd assume. So you think it looks clear. You can come back, and then if you just pile through there, you might get possibly a shot or two coming out the back. Some more confident riders can maybe weave a little. But yeah, you should be fine. Okay. So who is riding their horses and who is holding on tight?
I'm riding.
I'm riding.
Excellent.
I mean, like, it's 50-50.
To be fair, I'm not that much better, so like you could just risk it.
Yeah, you're right, because he can ride. He's got 10 advances in it.
Yeah,
Can
so-
we go at the back?
Sure.
Because I just think, I mean, I'll probably fall off, but I'm probably the most likely to pick someone up if they fall as well.
Sounds good. Okay, so
Do you have a shield?
particularly because you're in a place where you're not riding, you can yank them on. So that being the
Does
case,
Birdie have a shield?
Birdie does have a shield.
You
Yes,
put
getting shields
the
out might be a
shield-
good idea.
Oh, no, put it like get
on
Elric to
your
put it
back.
on his back to
That will
protect
impede
them.
him if he's trying to pick someone up, though.
True.
Okay, sounds good. So if everyone can do a ride test, Lucas is fine. He has passed with 3
You're right,
successes.
that's right. I'm just...
Now you need to test. Oh, you're fine, yeah.
I'm going to use my single fortune point. To get
Oh my
to
god, maybe I do have to do a right.
Oh, it's a 99.
I need to take this
I'm-
course.
99! Nice
I would have
done.
passed.
You would have!
Oh, yeah. Perfect. So 65, which is spot on. My
Perfect, 6
riding
successes.
Do you have advantage?
Oh, yeah, not
No,
stressful.
he's not to.
No, you don't. You only get it when you're taking your time. You're doing the
What
opposite.
about
You're galloping.
flanking?
But I
That's pretty good.
Fail.
not badly.
Okay, so fail.
One.
I mean, you're not falling.
One fail.
He failed, so he's not riding as well as he could.
It
His
was
horse,
significantly worse before I.
yeah, his horse is flagging,
Is the
slowing
Lord of
down.
elbows and knees going?
He's blind. I mean, what can you expect?
He's
Okay.
also torn between wanting to charge up there and kill these fuckers.
Yeah.
Little part of him almost wants to be caught.
Are there going to be any shots coming out of there?
I critted.
There.
I got 5 successes.
You critted, did you? Nicely done. Okay, is your
I had to
horse
spend a fortune point. too.
darting from side to side. Okay, there are going to be 2 shots. Okay, one, I mean, you could call that a success, but it's barely a success. And the other one, that's a miss. So the fail is going to end up lagging. Okay, so it's likely to hit you, this single success. So I'm going to make it 1 to 8 you, 9, 10 someone else. I rolled a 4, it's you, and it's a fine... They hit who they want to hit, as it turns out. It's
And it hit the second
a
round.
mighty 7 damage. As an arrow just skims by you. Skims by your body for what little that may make a difference on. I'm going to presume like a point worth of multiple layers of clothes of
Yeah,
armor.
exactly.
Okay,
one
so
wound.
so that's 1 wound. Yeah. It's nothing more than an impact in the sides. The arrow gets tangled into your robe and your clothes, and you
Not
can
wearing
feel
robes.
it. Your cloak.
Very definitively
Thank
not
you.
wearing robes.
Your cloak and your clothes at the side, and then you're off into the darkness as you make your way by. And a second dice of doom roll.
Do you have to do anything with this one?
Barn, no, this one was just
Oops.
So no choices. On
7.
6.
1,
3.
3,
10.
10.
8. I think we're all good.
OMG. A nice clean one. Oh,
Lucas.
anyone roll 9?
No.
Wow.
Go. Wow.
Chat wants to give us the odds on that.
That's unlikely.
Bullshit.
Do a subscriber, thank you.
Do jump. Oh, did we have a subscriber pop in? Oh, we did.
Legion of
The Legion of Firebringer, thank you very much for subscribing. Deeply appreciated.
Good job.
Thanks for that one, Ed. So, the goblins.
You were goblins.
They were goblins.
Goblins.
The goblins are a full mile away from the road as you're passing away.
They were praying to Ulrich. on
There
the
was
way.
over 90 of them
Oh, wow.
in a small hunting party of goblins. But sadly, for those of you looking to put goblins on your helmet,
You want a goblin on your helmet.
You have to start somewhere.
Wait, can you upgrade? It's not like
yeah, totally. For those of you looking for goblins to kill, are a good mile off the road as you clock your way by.
90's a lot, though.
And as we move into the early morning, our last dice of doom, as the sky is paling ever so slightly over towards the east.
7.
Roll
7,
3.
8.
2 3s.
2 sevens.
I can go down to 6.
I've got 10 here.
Have a 2? No,
I've got 10.
Move it down.
You going
So
down?
we're all good. So that's it all equaled out. You are definitely not twisting the threads of fate with your innate luck. You are definitely not
Stop
doing
it.
things.
Stop tempting fate.
Somehow, the large group of bandits that have been holding this particular part of the road for some time and using the disturbances locally to cover the fact that they've been preying upon passing merchants don't catch you. It's too early in the morning. No one would be foolish enough to be galloping around at night in these particularly dangerous times.
As long as
Except
it's
for you guys.
just a stray one, just maybe with a limp.
No. Nor with a giant bovine head just to look good in a helmet.
Kill a cow and then claim it was a beast, man. It's a minotaur, that.
You just say, it was a beast, man. Yeah, man, it was a
Punctuate
beast,
your
man.
mouths.
Yeah, totally. 100% fine. We arrive at the Emperor's Hammer in the early hours of the morning. We have passed through several villages and a few towns on the way here. The towns you have to go around because they close up at night. The villages you just pass through. We didn't encounter goblins. We didn't encounter the Sons of Ulrich. We weren't raided by bandits. And as you arrive at the Emperor's Hammer, you can see why it is a meeting point locally. It is a large fortified inn. In total, it's almost 100 paces by 100 paces for its main area, and it's got a barracks for the road wardens and can easily keep over 100 here. It's effectively a small army base for the local state army. The Middle Mountains rise up behind you, and it's funny to think, looking up in that direction over towards the left, that you were down in under those mountains not so long ago, just a few months previous. Up there somewhere is the ruins of Carrickskug. Up there somewhere is very possibly a Doom Lord. Oh no, he died.
Still lost.
Completely lost. And somehow up there, you found Lucas in the middle of it all. Somehow. With some gnomes, who are apparently also up there somewhere. The inn is closed, obviously, it being nighttime, and state soldiers sit guarding it. They are up all night, lanterns and fiery braziers all around the walls lit, but this is not all that's lit. About 100 yards away from that, a second circle, all lit. And running up into the inn on one side is the river that passes through. Here, it is wide and deep enough that it can take barges. But they don't stop here. They stop approximately 100 yards downriver from here, where there is a long set of jetties where they can stop off for quite a heavy fee. So you've got a choice. You can either head off in towards the inn, where you presume the Electra Count is. If he is, his flags are not up.
Roughly what time is it?
It's early in the morning. Sun's yet to rise. It's very difficult to tell what the time is.
But our meeting was at 8.
Yes. Or alternatively, you can head down towards, you don't know what the time is the correct answer to this. Or you could head down towards where you think the barge may be.
You're just counting hours. Don't like carry on.
Should we go to the bar? I don't think it's 8 yet.
You could be late. You don't know what the time is.
We could
Wouldn't
ask.
it be open?
It's
if it was
winter.
morning?
Are pocket watches the thing?
Pocket watches are a thing for those who spent money on them. You have not. They're expensive. But yes, they are.
They just ask what time
Just
it is.
ask the guards and
Plus-
wait.
if you're with Marguerite, she just knows what time it is.
Yeah,
So.
true fact.
I should have gone see it.
You should have.
Marguerite, we need a clock. Come.
You're cheaper than a pocket watch. OMG.
Wow. As taglines go, it's the best.
That's got to go in the wedding speech, though.
And she's cheaper than a pocket watch.
Part of my poem. And then your heart does not tick. So pocket watches are cheaper.
Oh, man. So, as I said, what are we doing?
We're asking what time it is of the.
So you're going up
Yeah,
to the
Yes.
gates. Guards are indeed sitting up there, one of which is just sitting on his hands like so, looking out over as he sees the horses come up. And looks down. You're quite clearly lit up because you've passed by the first lit up area almost 100 paces outside from the main wall, so it's very clear that you're making your way in.
Very quick question.
Yes.
Elric, state soldiers, does Elric have authority?
Nope.
No.
State soldiers are only inside their own state army structure. If you were seconded to one of those state army structures and you were given a position there, then yes.
So kind of
no.
default, he's got Aldorf because that's where the college is, but now he doesn't.
No, he doesn't even have Aldorf. You don't have a position unless you're attached to the army.
If we were in a moment of crisis, they might follow your orders because they might go,
Ah,
right, Wizard
absolutely.
knows what he's talking about. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you are a wizard. Assuming that
not obvious.
Not that you, exactly. Staff all wrapped up and attached to your horse, and not obviously as you're making your way up. Who's going to call out as they look down? And they're not even calling out. They just look down at the horsemen as they arrive.
Are you open yet?
As voice comes down, "Hey up!" He says, "You're a bit early." He says, "Riders out this hour. It's not very often we see folk about it now." He says, "Are you bandits?" There's a laugh at the side. Because
We'll have to.
if you are, you can fuck off.
No, we're not bandits, just looking to warm ourselves, have some breakfast.
He says, "Breakfast." He says, "We're breakfast yet?" Which you hear clearly. She hears, but everyone else just sees him turn around. Another one says, "I don't
Can
know."
I
They don't
smell
run-
breakfast being cooked?
No. They don't run bell yet. And he goes, "Fuck. So, you're about an hour early."
What time do they do breakfast?
At what bell?
What bell?
What bell is breakfast?
He says, "Gates at 6.
Marvellous. We'll troll around to keep warm then.
He says, "Right, Joe, you don't have any orders on you, do you?"
Any what?
Orders.
For breakfast? As in, what do you wish?
I mean, I'll pass you some bacon.
Stew, please.
3 hash browns.
No.
Orders from who?
He says, "Well, you got orders from Graf." He says, "We have to let you in."
No.
Then, no. He says, "You'll have to wait till gates open."
Fine.
And then you hear from behind, "Shut the fuck up, we're trying to sleep." He shrugs.
The way the boats are separate, aren't they?
Yeah, so we can go
They're
down and check out the
all
bar.
ways down
You
there,
can trot
yeah.
down there,
We
keep
can
yourself
trot
warm.
down.
And down there are about some 6 or 7 barges, 2 of which are sitting side by side, strapped together to each other against a jetty. And the foot shover is one of them. It's not the first time that it has docked here. It docked here for quite some time, expecting you to come out from Middenheim at some point or another. And then it received word that, in fact, you were in the south. So they went down to the south, where they intended to meet you in Altdorf, doing a little bit of trading, doing a little bit of buying and selling on the way. And then, unfortunately, by the time that they realised you'd left, the city was on lockdown. There was an awful lot of trouble until eventually, 2 days later, everything got opened up, merchants could move around. They passed through the city paying an extortionate toll for the second time as they moved through, and then headed upstream again, all the way up towards Delbers in the hope there would be a chance of meeting you a long way, hear any word that you were anywhere. Upon reaching at Delbert's, not there, they carried all the way back up to here.
Oh, bless.
Exactly as we planned. here we are.
We said we'd be
Making
here.
money on the way, though, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope they've been trading as they're out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they are currently at a loss of some 28 crowns because of having to pay the tolls repeatedly of going through cities.
What was our boat master's name again?
Brutilda.
Brutilda.
Blutilda.
It's all right. I've got more than that in my purse.
That's a heavy
in
purse.
bandit country.
So the question is, who is aboard as you arrive at the food shower? Is Brutilda here? Is everyone's favourite halfling here?
I was something.
Is...
Bilbo.
Pardon? No, not Tilbury.
He is everyone's
The
favourite.
cannibal
To be fair.
Dumpling.
Dumpling.
Everyone's
is
second favourite.
Dumpling here? Do we have a certain Greta of House Tame here? And Sigismund the even younger?
Would like to see the
And Salty in Spirit, do not forget.
Yep.
The Barge Dogs.
Barge dogs. Naked,
We have
naked guy.
Barge Dogs. We have
the two.
Skep.
That's him.
We have 2 barge girls, all of whom require payment, and it's one of the reasons why you don't have as much money as you did, because they were being consistently paid week in, week out, all the way through. Easiest job Skip has ever had in his life.
Meanwhile, we've not got paid.
One person certainly is here. Skip. He has his bare feet up, corns and all, on the side. Well, bare foot up. His other leg's a
Wooden.
peg. I mean, it's a foot shape because, you know,
Yeah, style.
he's been paid now. He's gone beyond peg.
Wow.
He's got
So
a wooden
gilded
leg.
and-
Yeah. He's got a wooden leg, and he is currently painting his wooden leg's toes.
Nice.
He has a paintbrush and a small pot of red paint as he's sitting there. Here we go. Oh, look at that, it's lovely. Oh. As he's sitting there, doing his toenail
Nice.
on his wooden foot. His other foot is up off the edge, slightly splayed at a funny angle, because this foot's not actually attached to his body. But that's lovely. As you make your way on, oh, it's a thing of beauty. As he looks at it,
It's so wholesome.
which is what you see as you're making your way over, clip, clip, clop, as he looks up. And he says, we're not taking on any passengers, we don't have a net.
We own the
All right.
boat.
He looks over. As he looks over at the...
Yeah, we probably look a bit different.
Yeah, we probably have to.
We own the boat. Who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I know you don't.
Off we do.
Skip.
Where's Blutilda?
As he looks up and he goes, I recognize that one. As he looks out, takes out a monocle.
Better not be a gold monocle.
It's silver. As he looks out of his eye, and he goes, "Hello, me now. Is that you, Eric?
Yeah, it's all of us.
All of you?"
Yeah.
As he looks over, it's a bit dark. He says, "I'm living it now. What is you now?"
Yeah, totally.
He says, "Hey." He says, "You're late."
Circumstances.
Listen,
No. That's copyright. Yeah, no, a lot of stuff happens. Is Greta here?
He says, Her Highness. Now,
Fetch her.
what do you think of my foot?
It's impressive.
Hops off horse. Jumps on part.
Pop, 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 pop.
I always done this all while clutching Birdie.
Yeah.
I can't see over my shoulder, so you
And
have
you
to
hop
lean
down.
around.
In the only bed in the barge, Greta of House Trot can be found. Her of Tame. She's
That'll be our
blankets
plan,
up,
like, for a
and off to
while.
the side, you can see Sigismund the even younger. Sigismund, contrary to your darkest fears, has not turned into a strange mutant. apparently being the child of maybe someone very nasty does not necessarily immediately engender glowing green eyes.
What a relief.
He looks just like a baby who's just sitting there asleep.
So his eyes might be glowing green, but they're shut.
There is no obvious glow coming through his eyelids.
I'll knock.
As you pad.
She might have a knife, you know.
Yeah, she might.
That's my pistol. Yeah.
And a voice comes out. Yes, who is it?
It is I.
And then there's Atmore. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you finally here?
I am here. I have returned.
She gets up and she's in a long bedroom. She opens it up and she goes, oh, thank fuck, I thought you were dead. And she just gives you a hug.
I am not dead.
Where have you been?
Well, it's a very long story. Can we get everyone on? Everyone, come on.
Is everybody here?
Yes.
I'll tie up the
Is anybody
horses.
dead?
No.
What?
Not
No.
that
Not
we left
anyone
with.
that she knows.
Not anyone that we
No,
left
someone
with.
died and then came back.
Yeah, no,
That's the whole thing.
not
As
anyone.
there's clambering
not
of
anyone
people
that
coming
you
on the
know.
barge. As she
Several
says,
people in the world
we've had
died.
quite the adventure.
We. I think we were in maybe in Altdorf at the same time, but we couldn't get a message to you.
No, we heard that you had left.
Oh.
She says, so we tried to leave not long after. Unfortunately, we got waylaid and we had to do a small trip around Nuln. We made our way back up eventually. By Nuln, yes. We for a brief period of time, were part of the Aldorf army. we just had to transport troops around for a while, and then once we got away from there, we got raided, and then it's been a difficult time. But we made it. Says, probably wouldn't have got this far if it wasn't for that damned halfling.
Why?
But why wouldn't we have gotten this far? Turns out she's quite stabby.
Right.
And not in a good way.
Not surprised me at all.
Not in a good way at all.
Right.
She says, look. And goes,
Is it a bird?
Sigismund, the even younger, only has one arm.
Oh, shit.
Jeez.
What happened?
She ate it.
Oh my
Dodge is a
God.
fucking cannibal.
Well, we know she eats
Well,
people.
we know she eats people.
She was cooking them when we
Great
first
job.
met her. How did that happen? Oh, well, not
No,
there.
you're not there yet.
I'm not there, I can't ask.
I mean, it's old news now. I'm quite over it. You can probably tell.
Is she still on this barge?
No,
Right.
no.
Good.
So everyone's here. Let me come to me. As she comes up the stairs and looks around. Hello. Hello. Father. Says, Birdie.
Greta, everything okay?
Bernard.
Morning, Greta. How's my son?
Says, you could be better than when you left him. I have several things to tell you. Do you have anything you need to tell me?
When we're pressed for time.
We have a meeting at the 8th bell in the inn.
She says, what time is it now? Do you know?
It's not quite 6.
Apparently they ring the bells at the bell. It opens at 6.
Oh.
The inn.
I'll go wake up Svenja. She can make some breakfast. And she makes her way off.
One of the barge girls.
No, it's not one of the barge
Oh,
girls.
sorry.
New name.
It's a new cook.
And
Oh, as she's gone, I'll say, don't mention it. Don't. I'll tell you later. Don't mention it.
Okay. All right.
and Leopold can hear, as can Alameda wife. Svenja, wake up. We've got breakfast to make. The company's here. And you hear her, hey, well, now. She says, I just went down 2 hours ago. She says, and now you're up, so get moving. Yes, mistress. She says, oh.
Do we need put them out?
I don't think he knows about second breakfast.
God, seriously.
We'll get something.
Fucking token estate, I'll be honest.
And you see
Where's our hobbit chef?
a blonde girl with a white bonnet with a shawl wrapped around her shoulders is popping round to the kitchen as she ducks down into the kitchen,
Yes.
which is altogether too low for her.
Built for a
Yes, it is
yeah.
custom built for a halfling.
Yeah.
And moves off at the side. And Greta returns and says, Well, I trust you are quite aware of everything that's happening across the Empire, so I don't need to keep you appraised of that. She says, we had some difficulty down in Delbert getting through the port there. They put up a blockade again, much like they did last time.
Yeah.
It's in place again, and it's the same people that did it last time.
The children of Ulrich.
They've claimed the entirety of the river from that point onwards, saying that only Ulrich's people are allowed further north than Delbert. As far as they're concerned, that is the edge of Middenheim.
Right.
They haven't quite the talk about it. So, I have a couple of things that I need to tell you. First, that halfling is no longer aboard. She tried to trade us in. And was quite successful, actually. Beastman.
Goodness.
Just for clarification, because I know she was very sort of, in a way that suggested that she was linked to the ruinous powers, or in a way that says,
Well, she was commanding them.
oh,
And they came aboard. And they were doing what she said.
right,
And they ate my child's arm.
I see.
Oh.
And it was right after she had shown herself to be really quite reliable and useful, because we had been raided not long before, and she had been particularly aggressive. And I suppose I could have thought of something at that point, that she was a little bit better and martial. One could have made a but I didn't. I didn't.
Well, we brought her on. It wasn't for you to,
Yes, no, we definitely did.
but you did.
No, we did it.
Bathilda can no longer speak. Her throat was cut.
Oh, for goodness.
She's still alive. She's lost her right hand. She now has a hook.
Cool.
I would not say that.
No, that was.
Not
Get
in
outside.
Elric.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Badass. Yeah. Yeah.
The Beastmen, actually, the only way that we, shall we say, overcame that particular situation is because they were actually quite willing to talk.
Yeah. What did they talk
There
about?
was a mixture of beastmen and humans and mutants. They were all together, and let's not dwell on the details. Needless to say, I convinced them, that two of them, that I was a better bet than what they were currently involved with. And everything has to sleep at some point. It was bloody. Unlike everyone else apparently on the barge, Greta has nothing. No eyes plucked out, no hands
Skip
gone.
seemed fairly as he was.
Pardon?
Right?
Skip
seemed. He was already.
Yeah.
Was there any banners, any identifying things they marched under?
It's difficult to say. I mean, they weren't carrying banners. They swam over to the boat. They took control of it during the night at that. Skip looks over. Skip got battered around the head. He wasn't very happy about it. The following day, he was swearing that no one's business.
Whereabouts did it happen? What part of the river?
Down in the Reich, when we were making our way down to Null. We weren't too far away, actually, from where we first picked her up.
Where you picked? Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
One feels that she might have made some communication already. And I will be blunt. She was giving them orders and laughing it up as well. Really quite happy about everything that is occurring.
We did find Telka eventually, didn't we?
Telka was in.
Castle
yeah.
Pickens.
Yes, you are.
What happened to her? She
I mean, from one perspective, it's useful. Because imagine the horror she could have done if you caught up with her when you were supposed to meet me. This was after.
Yeah.
When we were on our second route round. Did our long loop around down by Null and then all the way back up again. Bloody awful there. Absolutely awful. But done.
I don't know. The sort of general consensus is that halflings are somewhat resistant to their ruinous powers.
I mean, one can make a choice regardless of how resistant one may or may not be.
She was
I mean, I suppose.
she was cooking humans when we first met her.
Oh, well, I thought that was sort of under duress.
Yeah.
And then they're also notoriously not resilient. What is it when you take everything in front of you and you make the best of it?
Pragmatic.
Pragmatic thing.
Or perhaps their pragmatism went in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I suppose.
Absolutely awful. No other way of putting it. A trying time, but it was only for 2 nights.
But that is something.
It has been survived. We've come out the other side.
The-
And that thing is no longer with us.
What about your father?
Yeah. Well, he caught up with me in Altdorf.
Well,
We had words. And I told him, and if I'm going to be sweet about it, I told him that I was not involved in his current concerns and that I would be moving on. And he accepted it.
Was your brother in Altdorf?
Now, my brother's frequently been in Altdorf, as far as I know.
At that time?
I didn't see him at that time. When I was last in Altdorf was when my father came, and it was in the Reichsport rather than Altdorf proper.
Would this have been when they were leaving? Or no, like, was this as you were leaving Altdorf, or?
It was actually when we were in lockdown. So it was after whatever it was that happened in the palace, when all of the alarm went across the city and the gates were shut.
Mhm.
And as far as we could tell, that's when believe the Middenheim forces that had gathered in the north, they fled to the north. The Nalna forces, they fled to the south. And then there were some eastern forces as well, from what we heard by rumour.
Our Ulrich was murdered
Yes, I
in
heard.
the temple of Ulrich, the North Temple.
Yes,
Well, we do not
who did
know
you
whether
hear
it
by?
was. Who did you hear by?
I just heard that, but in the street. Oh, that who caused it?
Yeah.
Who murdered him?
Oh, I heard that was an Aldorfer.
It was your brother.
My brother.
It was Absalom. But we are not sure that it was.
Something that
But
looks like.
all of us
Abby.
saw
I find it
Absalom.
very unlikely it was Abby.
Well,
It seems a
was
very
something-
foolish thing for Abby to do.
It did.
It did to us too, but that is what was seen in the temple.
He had some kind of weapon.
Mm.
She folds her arms. Abby, killing our Ulrich. What would be the benefit? What would Papa do that for? Now, I didn't see any sense in that. He seemed to be quite. I mean, he was in Altdorf, very close to that time.
We also had heard that your father was planting people to protest the wedding, to cause riots.
Well, that sounds like him.
But that was circumvented by us moving things forward a bit quicker.
Yeah.
And getting the Midlanders into Altdorf. But yeah,
So maybe a last minute change to the plan or something.
Father would be more interested in taking Altdorf.
Power.
He would look for Middenheim to be an ally. Middenheim also. And he does like to use brutal instruments to get his way. Of that there's no doubt. But this seems to be a crude, brutal use that would not make a great deal of sense.
Could Absalom have been out of contact and improvised?
No, it's not his
Doesn't do
style.
that.
He's a dog.
Yeah.
He does what he's told. And he would not be there if they did not want him there.
But he could have been a replacement.
Oh, it
Yes.
could have been Shalgree,
who?
my sister.
Oh, yes.
It could have been Shalgree. She believes that she is better than father and indeed anyone else at doing everything. And that she's currently my father's heir.
Oh,
So much as Absalom despises that.
She
He'd
might
listen
have
to
told
her.
Absalom to do it. in
Oh,
a way.
yes, and she has control of Absalom, let's put it that way.
I spoke to someone who was. I did not think your father would do it, but I spoke to someone who thought it would be in the Trot's interest
So
to have it done.
was Abby captured?
No.
Or how did he get out?
We don't
Sort
know.
of disappeared.
Fracas
Because-
after it all. Just,
Oh, everyone would have known how he got out. There would have been a bloody tie between him and where he went.
No, everyone started chopping each other up.
It was...
It was peculiar.
But there was a signal. There was some kind of magical signal that kicked it all off.
And a physical one.
magical one.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
unlikely to be Abby. He much prefers things he can rely upon. Magic can be stopped.
And we don't.
Papa's the same.
and
They
we
don't use magic.
And we don't think Absalom was there before the magic was. Like, I
No.
would have
See,
noticed
you
if
didn't see it,
Absalom.
yeah.
Came out.
He came out of nowhere. He wasn't there before this magical signal. Or,
It wasn't my brother. There's no way you can miss my brother.
Unless he was shrouded somewhere.
I mean, even then, he's very, very difficult to miss.
Your father would.
The blade that he carries alone makes it very
Would-
difficult to miss him.
what does the blade look like?
It's a long dwarven blade. Well, long by my standards, anyway.
He was carrying a blade with.
Runic.
It was
Says-
right.
And the blade, if it's near conflict of any sorts, it makes itself known.
Well, I don't think it did. Did we see it like glowing?
It wasn't lit up like a Christmas
I
tree.
thought there was something, but he had a weapon.
He
and
had a runic weapon.
It didn't match my memory of what you'd said his weapon was, but then you all questioned my memory of what you'd all said.
That's because Alan Menowith described the weapon, I think, like as a dagger.
Yeah,
but
because it was a
actually it
dwarven
was a sword.
short sword.
But
right?
when she saw the dwarven sword that he had, it did glow when he started to use it. And that certainly didn't happen in the temple.
No,
Because
it
I
didn't.
would have noticed
Yeah.
that. Yes. The weapon that I saw him with glowed, and the one that he had in the temple did not.
So potentially someone pretending that
It seems to be a particularly elaborate illusion. It's very difficult to do illusions that involve a great deal of people.
Mhm.
It's why my father does not like using magic. It's untrustworthy.
Fair wizards could do it.
I mean, they could. But it would... the suggestion would be then that the colleges were involved in the assassination of our Ulrich.
I wouldn't rule anything out.
Considering that we know that at that time, like, can we say this? Yeah, we can say it out loud now, right? At that time, the emperor was under the control of beastmen. He could have given the order to his brother. The brother would have thought it came from the emperor.
Filthy.
Exactly.
Perhaps that makes more sense of what Papa was like. You might not know him as well as I do, it says, but he was almost self-righteous. It's very rare to find my father feeling like he was on the correct side. He doesn't care one way or the other for sides normally, but he was clearly happy. I got away quite cleanly in a way I did not expect to. Folds her arms. I don't know. It does not sound like my brother. Given the evidence that you brought forth, I would suggest that it wasn't, but I have no good way of determining exactly who it is.
The other thing you should know, I guess, we followed a bunch of leads. It's a long story, but I think if you, Sigismund the Younger, did that test now, it would probably be okay. I don't actually know how it works, but it might be.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know how you...
The tame ritual. The
Yeah.
blood.
You told us
Mm-hmm.
that you couldn't go back.
You think? Why do you think that?
We found out how
They do it.
they were lots of
Make
people.
the copies.
Yeah.
And?
It wasn't it was an exact copy.
So it had his blood?
Yes.
Oh, God. All of this? And it didn't even need to be done?
Well, we cannot be sure because you do not know what the Bloodstein, what it tells. Perhaps it tells the soul, for all we know. And they do not have the same soul.
I'm tempted just to go and find out.
Do you think you'd be safer there?
I don't know.
Because this
Tame, I don't
isn't
think it's
going to
going to
get
be-
better shortly.
I think Tame is very likely to be in the receiving end of a great number of forces by the end of this year, if not the start of next.
Well,
Did you hear of the events outside of Carrotburg?
Yeah, we had a lot of rumour. I mean, what can be said to be true, and it was conflicting at that.
The fall of my brother.
Yes, I heard that he died in combat, my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Right. Okay.
Silly fool. But I don't know if it's even true.
I believe it. I'm reliably somewhat told that it is
That's
true.
a shame. I mean, I liked him. He was a good man. His heart was in the right place.
will we hear the bell here? We do not want to be late for our meeting.
Oh, you're hearing the gates open.
Show her the summons.
Oh. As she looks over towards the Emperor's armor and goes, oh. I mean, there's been, I would suggest, no indication that that is the case. So be wary.
Do you think we're actually meeting, or are we meeting a proxy?
I do not know, but the man who sent us has so far proven reliable.
No, I don't think he will be coming under the same. I don't think he'll be coming under banners and trumpets.
No,
if you know what I
absolutely
mean.
not.
So it might not look like he's there, but he'll be there.
Right, well, we've got some tea and a little bit of light breakfast coming. She says, how about we just catch up and take a moment to appraise each other of exactly what we've encountered, because you've apparently been through quite a lot.
Info dump.
Info dump. And it's a good time for us to take a second break. I'm looking at the wrong camera because there's nothing going on up there. It's all down here because our camera broke down halfway through the stream. So that being the case, take a break over here with a quick.
Hello, I'm Ed. I play Gerhardt. This is LAWhammer. It's the break. While you're on break, go over to our Discord. Follow that stuff. Like if you're watching this on YouTube. Is there a break on YouTube? Yeah, there's a break on YouTube. I'm a break on YouTube. If you have the time and energy and cash, go over to Patreon. A large portion of that's free. Rules, maps, some nudie photos of me hidden somewhere. Yeah, that's right, go check it out. And then behind the paywall is the nudie photos of everybody else. Lovely stuff. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Snow falls, yet heavier, as the sky is beginning to lighten off towards the east. Now, on this side of the World's Edge Mountains, on this side of the Middle Mountains, it's nothing more than the slightest paling across the sky. But it's enough that even those without exceedingly sharp eyes can see as you make your way up towards the Emperor's Hammer's open gates. Because you have a meeting at 8. So as not to be late, we're arriving a good 15 minutes, a good quarter bell before you have to actually be there. You're not entirely sure what to expect. Is someone going to come meet you? Are you just going to get jumped? Are you going to be escorted somewhere else in a coach to somewhere creepy? What indeed is going to occur here? Is it just an attempt, yet another attempt, to assassinate the Sigmarite priest? That's very possibly the case.
Yeah, multiple assassination attempts. Well, some people were having parties or sleeping with their friends. This guy was getting assassinated and watching his followers murdered.
Oh, I mean,
I had a great time.
I don't know them.
I was doing important politics at this point.
I'm sure we've invited you to some party.
Yeah, that's what he's upset about.
Our fault the letters got lost in the mail.
Not that I'd be able to read them.
Oh, who knows?
Somebody sent me another blank sheet of paper. Great.
Middenheimers just burned them for the fire.
As you pass through the gates, our 6 glorious heroes, your horses now stabled down by the docks, comes as part of the docking fee, because they don't actually expect many to be bringing horses with them. So it is a service that's offered. You are approached by an individual with a big, long moustache that hangs down almost to his chest. He looks at you all, and then half smiles and says, would you be storm hunters by any chance?
Close enough.
Good. He says, I'm to meet you here. You're a bit early. Do you need food, water, anything else?
I think I'll have a drink.
He says, "Come in, we have place." And you're taken into the main hall of the Emperor's Hammer. And it's big. This place could easily accommodate a couple of hundred around its many barrels and low stools that it has. And there's a long bar, at one point a raised area where clearly music could be played, but not at this early hour. And even now, in the very early morning, it is already populated with almost 30 people at a variety of tables, well, barrels, where they're spread out. He takes you over to the side. The chap who's behind the bar, just leaning on it like this, sees him go in, sees you all, looks at him to say, "Am I supposed to?" And he just shakes his head and he goes, "Right, fair enough," and just looks back down again. And he walks right past the bar, through a door at the side, into a back room.
Anyone else think this might be a charisma ambush?
It's lit up with small oil lamps. There's a table here as he comes in and says, "Sit down, I'll get food." Says, "Drink. Anything else?" He says, "I've only got soup on this morning. Is good?"
No, that's okay.
But as he goes out,
We've met a couple of lads with Seabreeze.
Yeah.
Similar accents. Is he recognisable?
No, I wouldn't expect it to be his people who were here, but that accent sounds authentic.
Yeah.
about 5 minutes later, as you're sitting there, Lucas, sitting rather stiffed back in his chair, twiddling with his thumbs. Yes, as he looks over towards the opposite door, expecting an ambush at any point, and quite ready to duck beneath the table. As he leans back and sort of positions himself for maximum slide under table angle, should it be required. Yeah, he's ready. Slide! The door opens and a large tray is brought in with 2 big jugs of beer and a pot of steaming stew, soup in truth, with a pile of plates off to one side and a bunch of wooden spoons as he pulls it in and just drops it down himself. Says, "There, help self," he says. "I will go get him."
What kind of soup is it?
It appears to have more than one meat in it and a whole variety of vegetables.
It's a stew.
It's just a water
It's a
stew.
running stew.
Yeah.
It's a running stew.
It's a morning stew.
It's definitely a morning stew.
It'll
yeah.
thicken up as the day goes on.
And
Yeah.
meat's back on the menu.
Is there bread?
Yeah, there's small bread inside as well. Lucas will just pull out a bowl and eat it. "Well, you know, might be my last meal, so it's well to make best use of it." Says, "Well, it's a little bit doomsday. Perhaps I shouldn't be quite so negative about it."
No, it's not a bad outlook. Enjoy what you have.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Live in the moment.
How's it going at the college? Oh, no, sorry, not the college. The
The new
the
college,
guild. The guild. Yes. How's it going?
It's difficult, but I don't remember. And sorry, this is out of character.
Mhm.
When he was last in Middenheim, channeling wasn't
Nowhere near as bad, but
that
as
much
the
of a
winters
difficult-
come in,
the
it's become
winter,
tough. Yeah.
The weather is not conducive to our wind.
And with
So-
that, and inside with the rooms there, with it's already steeped with centuries of other magics. It's just tough.
Because I was thinking it would be better because surely buildings in Middenheim would be built to insulate the heat,
Mm.
but clearly there's other factors.
Yeah, there is.
But no, I think it will make them better. It will make channeling in other places easier just by their sheer nature of being trained in Middenheim. So it should be good, and they won't be as prickly, I think, as the other novices.
Elric, is your name a family name?
Elric, I don't know.
Why'd you ask?
Well, because we were asking Elric questions, weren't we?
There's no one that immediately that I know or know of that was called Elric.
So why were you named?
I don't know. I'm imagining it was Maven.
Oh,
I ask you, why do you ask?
Everyone looks suspiciously at him anyway.
Well, I just wondered.
Since
Right.
we're shooting the breeze, look at this. And she takes some soup with the spoon away from her. They made me spend a whole day doing that.
How I say?
Doing
That's
what?
good, very good.
Learning how to eat soup like a lady.
I say. That's really rather impressive.
Thank you.
As Alan dips his bread into the big pot. Wait.
No, seriously, that's really rather impressive. Yeah. And I hear things are rather rough for your cult at the moment, Father. Says, is it as rough as one hears? Because I've been trapped in the palace.
Worse.
Oh, dear.
We saw the corpses, right? When we were.
Yeah, quite. You didn't necessarily see them, though. You know how it is. You ignore certain things as you're passing by. It's really bad. Yeah. Because I heard that the High Temple itself was closed.
Yeah, it's all burnt out.
Burnt? Oh, I didn't hear that. Burnt? They burned? A High Temple? That's awful.
I heard they burned all the temples.
Well, what's the High Capitular say about this?
No, he's not here.
Well, where is he?
He fled for his life.
Oh, golly. I had no idea.
Can I ask on that? Sigmar has power in this world. And I know this seems very sort of A to B problem solving and everything's quite complicated. But if there are people, trashing his temples, would it not be worth doing a little bit of smitage?
Well, he works through us.
Well, he cracked my
I've
teeth.
seen him directly impact people.
in my presence.
Oh, so you would need to be there.
Yeah, and there's a limit. You've seen that. There's a limit to what.
Yeah, right. No, I just asked the question just to clarify. From
It
your
would be
position.
curious though would he approve of the High Capitular running?
I don't know.
I famously
I've spent
stands
the
his
last-
ground, no?
I spent the last 2 months getting every Sigmarite I can out of that city
How are you doing that?
secretly.
Oh, gosh.
Right.
If you need access to a temple, I can arrange that for you.
I sold my own temple now.
We've still got one.
Did you just say you are your own temple?
Sort of. Profit, innit?
Well, yes, there's. This is the problem. Delusions of grandeur. They really start going. They get out of control.
I am a temple. My body is...
I only put the finest stew in it.
Oh, golly. And then the door at the far side, not the door you came in by, but sitting on the opposite wall, opens. And you immediately hear a voice on the other side saying, well, I'm sure we'll figure it out, won't we? And in walks someone that you have met before. You didn't meet him. It's not like you had a formal introduction and you had a bit of a tete-a-tete conversation. But this is assuming that there are no Absalom-like illusions in place, without any doubt, the Electra Count of Osland, because you saw him just 2 months ago in the vault cellar. An older man, you would guess probably in his 60s, with long, thin moustaches that hang down, and a beard that has, since the last time you saw him, grown in a good bit more. Previously, it was close-shaven except for the moustaches, and now it's grown out a little. He has a black hat on. Almost knocked mine off. He has a black hat on with small sprigs of white and red feathers and a small Ostland symbol sitting at his throat, suggesting that he's a part of the state army. He is obviously part of the state army. I mean, it's not a lie to say the Elector Count is part of the state army, but it is somewhat of a lie to suggest that he is probably a low-ranking officer, which is very much what his garb would suggest. As he comes in, sees you, immediately recognizes all of you bar one, as he looks over at Lucas, has a slight frown on his face, and comes in and sits down and says, please don't stand.
It's like halfway up.
Yeah, and anyone with any form of etiquette probably would have been.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not that guy.
Probably military.
2 days.
Oh yeah, absolutely, military, totally.
Yeah.
He says, don't stand. We have a great deal that we need to cover and very little time, and I can't stay here for very long. He says, I am needed elsewhere. I have moved quickly to get here for this meeting. He says, so I have a great deal I'd like you to understand. I could have had somebody else explain it to you, but I would prefer to do it personally. I understand that you're currently in the employ of the Elector Count of Middenheim. I am also informed that you are free thinkers, capable of coming to your own conclusions, regardless of what your betters or others may conclude on your behalf. You are also, I am told, honourable. Young, potentially foolish, but honourable. That is what I have been told. And according to my intelligence, you are also of unique drive. And would rather, much like any good thinking man of the Empire, that civil war was avoided. I knew the civil war was coming. Anyone with their eyes open could see that civil war was coming. But I knew something else. We had long believed that we held the hammer as Sigmar in Ostland. We had long believed it. The hammer that was held by Karl Franz, we knew was not the hammer of Sigmar. And we had a host of proofs for this, which we intended to use should it ever be required. Unfortunately, the hammer that we were convinced was the hammer was destroyed last year, which put a dampener on our political superiority. We were quite convinced that we were in a strong position, then suddenly it became weaker. We put a lot of work into trying to find out what had happened to the true hammer, because we believed that the hammer that was held in Altdorf, which had been held by the cult Sigmar, was not. It did not look right. We had a host of very old pieces of art that showed us what the Warhammer looked like in Sigmar's time. It does not look like Galmaraz, as was carried by Karl Franz, by his father, and by his father before him. And I have it on very good authority from some close friends amongst the dwarves that they know it is not Galmaraz. They know. And they made a deal, I am told, with Emperor Magnus to keep the peace. They would not publicly deny him that he held Galmaraz, nor would they support him. They were there at the coronation, representatives, but the High King did not come. But a representative of all holds, of course, came. So we were convinced it was the wrong one. My son believed that he had found the site of the real one. He set off at the end of last year to find it. He believed it was in the Grey Mountains. Now, Crown Prince Hergart has since gone missing. To make matters more difficult, we have very recently had intelligence that he went to the wrong place anyway. And the intelligence comes direct from the palace, because we have spies there. Now, I don't know how well you know Colonel Sievers. He is a competent gatherer of information. And he found out that very recently, after the destruction of Galmaraz, which we all witnessed personally, the Emperor was also looking for the truth, and he has found the truth. And he believes that the hammer is held somewhere not far away from Blackfire Pass. And he has sent agents, as has Boris Torbringer. And the very fact that you hadn't been sent concerns me deeply. And I believe he did not send you because of one of your party. In particular, the father. He will have almost, from what I can gather, certainly have sent Ulricans to secure an Ulrican weapon held by an Ulrican Sigma, a mortal man. That is the direction they prefer. I can understand the politics of it. I can understand his choices and why he would not send someone in your position. However, I disagree. I have had some significant conversation with Colonel Sievers about this matter, and he has convinced me that I should not send anyone else but yourselves for this particular mission. Now, I already have 3 other groups out looking for other hammers. But this is new information. It's come directly from the palace. And I believe it could be true. But then so could all of the other rumors. We have ruled out the 6 hammers that we have. None of them, we are certain, is Galmaraz. Galmaraz is an ancient dwarven weapon, created for a dwarven king and wielded by Sigma, who was a giant. Sigma, who was, by all accounts, over 7 feet tall. Imperial feet. A man taller than any of you here, with hands like plates of meat, able to carry a dwarven weapon. It is said that he took it with him, for no heir could possibly bear it. When he abdicated, he took Galmaraz and he intended to return it to the High King. That is what we have been told by our dwarven allies. But he never made it there. Never. So everyone is sending agents across the Empire, following one route or another in a desperate attempt to try and find the hammer. For they will surely have Sigmar's will. Yet, of course, someone who is apparently blessed by Sigmar himself has been overlooked for this particular duty. Out of fear, I would suggest. I'm going to say something that I have not told my colonels. If you decide to take on this job, I do not want you to return it to me. I want you to give it to the Emperor. Because this is the Empire, and he is the legal Emperor. Now, I have significant and deep issues with this Emperor. But nevertheless, my imperial duty is to say this. I've spoken at some length with my confessor concerning this. Obviously, not the specifics. He does not understand that I believe that I may actually find a true hammer. It's been a hypothetical. What would I do if I were to be given the hammer? And it's quite clear. It should be given not to the cult, not to any of the other lectocants who will use it to try and claim a position that someone else already has. I believe it should be used to end these civil issues. There is, of course, the issue that he might not even be able to hold the thing, assuming that we find a real hammer. If there is indeed a real hammer. But I was told that from the intelligence I received, I was told that all I'd need to do was ask if it was real, and it would be known. And Leopold says it's real, without even meaning to. It just comes out. Are you certain? You said it. You believed it. You said it. It's not like it's an imposition, but you know that. But yes. Well, perhaps there's some merit to this intelligence. Boris puts a great deal of faith in you. Yeah, chose to pass you over for this. I'm not sure what he's doing, but it's clearly personal.
How do you think the Graf found out?
Oh, he'll have spies as well. It's not particularly difficult to get information out of that palace. It is a tightly controlled box, but a box with holes.
Do you know anything else about where this information came from? Who else might know?
Trustworthy source.
Unreliable sources. Says
People say dodgy.
unreliable sources. But they all are. But the Emperor believes this one, which is the next potential issue you'll be facing. If this is real, you will not be the only group looking for it, and they will fight to the death to claim what they believe is rightfully theirs. The reason that I believe that this one is right is because the Cult of Sigmar has sent 6 separate groups.
And this is the one near Blackfire Pass.
Yes, but they have no specifics as to exactly where in the Blackfire Pass.
Okay.
The reason that Siva's suggested that... He suggested you because you have a capability of finding things that no one else can. I have a question for you. Of course, if you don't wish to answer it, that is your choice, but I would prefer if you did. Did Boris lose his sword? And did you find it? Best actors ever! As the kids all look a bit smug.
I felt like we were right.
As the false moustache.
Technically, did we find it?
I feel like we all look at Lucas like.
Did Lucas not find it?
Yeah, Lucas. Yeah, no, roundabout
Yeah, which
sort
is
of
why
way.
he's here.
Yeah.
And the guy clearly, he found it. That's why he's here.
Well, maybe he's right. In a perfect world, I would not send you here. I'd send you after my son. He is my only son. And I have already sent many men. For those of you that don't know, there's a cat yowling, which is why they're all laughing. Just sitting there, row, row. Clearly, the secret chamber has a cat sitting just on the outside of it.
It's
Scratch.
his son. I'm here.
I have come back. He is my only son, and he appears to be lost. Somewhere in the Grey Mountains.
Is his son still alive?
Oh,
Attempt an oracle.
yes, you can.
Nice.
And it's a crit.
Hey!
Looking sick.
Well, that could go
It's
badly
either
for
a
you.
yes or a
How
no.
many successes? Not me. It's a crit.
7.
Suddenly, everyone knows there's a Sigma right here. Ah!
Well, it doesn't always
Oh,
do
here we
that.
go.
It doesn't always do that.
Sigma declare!
Your son is dead.
Check
Well,
this.
it's better,
Nothing.
even if he is dead,
Oracle is
it's better to know than not.
Yeah.
So that's +2, so 9 successes.
9 successes. And why don't you do that thing that I sometimes ask for and read out what a crit means for your individual talent? Because 9 successes. Nice.
It's not profit, is it? It's oracle.
It's Oracle.
Crit. I know. I'm stunned for D10 rounds as confusing vision overwhelms me. After receiving the vision, GM will provide plus oracle certain facts
Okay.
as answers that you
How
interpret.
many Oracle have you got?
I have oracle
It's an important question.
twice.
Nice. Bang. 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 And inside your mind, the doors collapse. A rush of air passes by your face. Enough from the outside that as he collapses to his knees, off of his chair, and struggles to find something to grip onto,
We'll do our usual.
come up to him, indeed, as his hands swipe at something that's not there, but in his vision is, as a yawning black hole opens in front of you. And then you hear inside, a chill wind drifts past you, and you find yourself looking around. You're in mountains. There's ice everywhere. A great sea of ice to either side. And you look down, and you hear blood. For the blood god. Crunch, 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 crunch. Around you can hear shouts, calls. Past your ear, an arrow. And it was mistimed. And pointless in truth also. For what comes out of the darkness isn't alive. Big skull, winged helm, an enormous axe that is not a hammer. Goes the skeleton as it charges at you and hits you in the face. Two clear facts. Fact number 1, he's alive. Fact number 2, he has awakened something terrible in the south and was guided there by another power.
Oh no.
The Lord of Undeath.
So I've got good news.
It's sort of a bad news scenario.
Uh-oh.
Village.
What was the weapon? It was
Big
Big
axe.
axe.
Big axe. Great
Big
axe.
axe.
I suspect
Right,
some people in
big
the chat
axe.
might know who that's referring to.
Jim.
Jim.
The Dreadlord.
Jim, Dreadlord Jim and his axe.
Good friends with Stumlord.
As he collapses and for a moment his hat gets blown off and his hair is moving with unseen wind. As his eyes, what little remains of them, are revealed.
Oh.
The pits and the icy veins around them. As Sigma's ghost, says the Electra Count, as he looks horrified and then collapses back into the arms of Birdie. And probably Elric. The two that normally jump on him.
Sigma, right?
As he collapses, his body half rigid but more relaxed than it was before. And you come to. God. He
Yeah,
says,
Father, have a drink.
Thank you. Your son yet lives.
how do you know?
Sigmar showed me.
As Verena is your witness. Sigma showed
I
you.
swear it.
Makes the sign of a hammer on his chest.
He has awakened something terrible in the south.
What?
Some undead force that's also aligned with the ruinous powers, I think.
He just thumps his hands down.
He
was supposed to be helping. Oh, gods!
He was tricked. He was guided there by the Lord of Undeath.
Guided there. Do you know how? But he lives. And he's in the mountains, so that he can be found. He can be found.
If you get close, I would follow the screams.
He looks at you. You are a curious individual, Father. You do not act like many Sigmarites I have met.
Yeah.
This seems more a burden than a blessing.
Yes.
Well,
He is a prophet, not a blessed priest, a prophet of Sigma.
we wouldn't have been successful without.
Numerous times.
The general saw it too, right? One round. Or did he actually? I'm sure. Or did we just get a vision and tell the general? Second.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't think
No.
many people have witnessed.
Yeah.
Not in this not at that
Yeah.
level.
Then I will depart with, I suppose, prophecy. When we were searching for the hammer, and we searched extensively, we have uncovered many tomes, many lost passages, many of which have been said to me. My son did a great deal of the work on it. It was his responsibility. He was the one who was convinced that the hammer was false. I will be honest, I did not truly think it was a lie. I thought he had the real hammer. The evidence was there, of course, but there's evidence for almost everything. There are those who try to claim that my rune fang is not my rune fang, but I have drawn Morna. Of that there is no doubt. It is my blade. There are rumors. There's always rumors. But many of the tales that we found were clear that Sigmar had taken the hammer. He had taken it. He had taken it. It had not been left behind. Meaning that if he had taken it, it could not be found anywhere in the Empire, no matter what our history books had said. And we found so many evidence-based descriptions of the hammer down through time. In the Vampire Wars, in the time of 3 emperors, the time of 2 emperors. Boris Goldgather himself, sitting on a pile of gold holding the hammer. So many references. Yet nevertheless, this repeated tale that we found again and again. Hergard, that's my son, he went to a place called Priestlichem. It's in Talbotwood, near the Barren Hills, if you are aware of the area. And there is a monastery there, of priests, who have gathered there for prophetic reasons. They believe that Sigmar will one day be reborn and will make his way through this particular passage. Originally, when this prophecy was spouted, it was the Green Hills, not the Barren Hills. The Grunhugel. However, time had changed all of that. The center of their worship had become tainted. And they continued in their belief that from this tainted, broken landscape, Sigmar would be reborn. And whilst he was there, he saw many frescoes, many paintings, some carvings, and he got a tour of the entire place by the father. My son is, he has a tendency to get what he wants. He is a very strong-minded individual, and he convinced me of his position, and he convinces most people of his position. He's got a forceful, magnetic charm. I can't deny that. I mean, he does, frequently. People just like him, he claims. Well, this abbot, I think it was, abbot, took him down into the darker recesses and showed him some rather old tomes where the priest who had founded this abbey had recorded all of his thoughts, and he claimed to be a prophet of Sigmar. Many who have claimed that title, Father, true or not. And he said that, yes, Sigmar would be reborn from here. But there was a sign that would have to be seen first. And it was. And this was the one that convinced Hergard. The return of the hammer. Sigmar would not be reborn until the hammer had been returned. And Hergard directly asked him, so surely he could come any time. He did not want to, of course, give his hand away. And he said, no. The hammer held in Altdorf is a cursed item that gathers greed around it and brings bloodshed. That is all it is. Now, this is the sort of nonsense you would expect priests to spout. They often do. They're constantly talking about their prophecies. But this one happened to match what we believed in. So, of course, Hergart fully believed it. And, of course, he came to me, quite convinced of it. And he told me also that this hammer would be reclaimed by those who walked the steps of Sigmar. Now, he forgot that bit. It wasn't important to him. Because he became convinced that the hammer was in the Grey Mountains. That all of the stories had been twisted and changed. And he never went to the World's Edge or the Black Mountains. He went instead to the Grey Mountains. The closest mountains. And there he was to meet the High King. He believed he was going to an old hold that had been lost in the Grey Mountains. A place called Carrickzander. And he believed that Sigmar had gone there to meet the High King, who was visiting. It all made sense. But perhaps he was a little too eager to believe the tales put in front of him. Perhaps he had been misguided, as you suggest, Father. Or perhaps it's just a very simple prophecy, and that you should just simply follow the footsteps of Sigmar.
The pilgrimage.
Sigmar's Exodus.
We think Sigmar's already reborn, though, don't we? Wasn't one of yours outside?
Luther thinks he is. It could be wrong.
It wasn't one of your things that everyone heard.
That was the hammer has fallen.
Oh,
It
was
wasn't.
I
It
thought
didn't
was-
literally say Sigmar is reborn.
Some people,
Some people
interpreted it that way.
Yeah.
I thought there was the exact words, so I must be misremembering. No, close.
Besides, I don't know what to say to you. There are so many groups now moving to try and find some symbol of imperial unity. Aldorf is pretending that the hammer hasn't even been broken. They have other fakes. It's not difficult to wield the hammer for perpetuity if they wish to do so. But those who were there know. We know. And you were there. You are intrinsically linked to this somehow. And if you believe in fate, if you believe in the gods, then perhaps that's important. Apparently, Boris Torbringer has decided it is not. That I can say for a certainty. And I think we can all make our own conclusions as to why. I don't know what else to say. It will be your choice as to how you deal with this or don't. But I do have one request, and that is, do you intend to take this up? And if so, please tell me.
Just for context, so the cult have sent 6
At least.
that you know of.
You do.
The Emperor has sent,
At least 2.
but they'd be on our side, really.
No.
If they want to get it back to the
No.
Emperor, no?
No. No.
You think they're infiltrated?
They will assume anybody who is trying to take it that is not them should be killed.
No, but
And-
in terms of if they were to find it,
It's a beautifully naive position to take.
They might,
But no.
they might be
can't trust the
corrupt. We cannot trust anyone.
We know we can't
not
trust it.
ourselves.
We can trust ourselves.
Clergy. You
Leopold,
Have some
what do you think?
I think we have to.
It's up to you how you do it.
Well, I don't really have a choice.
You do. I only summoned you here. You can now do whatever you wish.
And you sent somebody as well?
I've sent 2 groups, but they're not going for this one. They're going for other hammers. I'm sending no one after this one. I don't see any reason to do so. I'm not convinced this one's the real one, but Siva's was. And Siva's convinced me that I should present it to you. He didn't want to do it himself because he didn't think he would be compelling.
We've never been to Blackfire, near Blackfire Castle.
No.
New place. Let's go.
And like
I'm working on my scratch map.
obliquely,
Obliquely.
the ruinous powers have driven that army of greenskins into Blackfire Pass.
Yeah.
That seems like exactly what happened. You were aware that a ruinous army went through that area, and into the vacuum behind it came all the greenskins. Sievers was incapable of holding the big build-up of greenskins, so he returned to Altdorf and told the Emperor bluntly, "We're fucked. A great invasion's coming from the south." And then nothing has come of that, because the Emperor was at that time, let's say, not the most imperial.
Yes.
Coincidence or not, it does feel like a bigger plan.
Are we to assume that this conversation never happened?
Of course.
And we would be going under our own cognizance?
It would be entirely up to yourselves how you deal with this. And if you wish to tell Boris, I couldn't stop you. I would prefer you didn't, because I don't, strictly speaking, trust anybody.
Maybe just Sievers.
I don't particularly trust Sievers either, except that I trust him to do what he thinks is right. There's a reason that he's been kept at arm's length. He's very good at getting business done, but I don't like his methods. He is, however, not a religious man, which, as much as this may sound contrary to what you expect, I think it's actually to the benefit of this particular conversation.
If we may, could we have the room for a moment?
If you have the room, you won't be seeing me again, sir. I'm here to answer any questions you have, and then I'm moving.
Leopold, you're going, aren't you?
Yes.
And then I'm going with you.
Yes, I think we should go. The thing to say, though, is that what we find might not be what we're expecting. Our history has shown us that things aren't what we thought they were. So we'll do the best we can. It might not be what you wish it to be.
Not to mention the outcome might not be what you think may happen.
Well,
Yes,
exactly.
But
He says,
will.
my position is that I would not have told you. Sievers convinced me that you were guided by some power that he felt would seek an outcome that I would approve. That being the case, all I can do is provide you with the information and you take it where it goes. My opinion is that the Emperor should have that hammer. You might disagree. I cannot, in any good conscience, find a fault with that. He has acted appallingly. It is as simple as that. He is currently building armies. He knows what's coming. We all know what's coming. And I find myself on the other side of the Emperor. Of that, there's no doubt. I am on the other side, but my own generals do not like this. Several of my generals are counseling with passion that we must side with the Emperor. And I do not want to see my army split. My banners should stay together. Ostland, together, proud, simple. But I'm a southerner. And in the north, they have very different views. Ostland-wise, at least. But that's my own internal issues. They're not for you to consider or indeed be all that interested in. But I have problems internally. This is causing problems, and I would like to see those problems gone. Whether you help with that or not, I can't say. Sievers seems to be of the opinion that it is worth me coming here from the discussions I've been having in Hawkland.
All right.
Do you have any other questions?
How long ago was this information
I
revealed?
received it 3 days ago.
That's good.
We can assume the cult sent their people right away.
They will take time.
Yeah.
I imagine they've probably sent some agents as
And
fast as they
we're-
possibly can.
We're much further away from where they started off as well.
Indeed.
But they may not have the other part of the puzzle, the walking in his footsteps part, which means they're going to fail.
Yes.
I can't say that I have such singular faith,
Do you know that part?
but that might be correct.
The Exodus Pilgrimage is well known.
And that's the right one.
It's the path Sigmar took when he left with the hammer. If he took the hammer with him,
Right.
it's the path he walked with the hammer when he left.
So where do we go first then?
Hold off.
He nods. The High Temple of Sigmar in Altdorf, attached to the palace. It's the old High Temple.
Isn't the one that recently got blown up?
No,
The old
that's the
one.
cathedral.
Yeah.
Not the High Cathedral, the High Temple of Altdorf.
Well,
Right.
could it be that we've walked in Sigmar's path previously? Could it be just that it meant us?
No. I don't think so.
Because we could be wasting our time.
It appears that you have done asking questions, he says.
We are.
Then I shall sum with this. Whatever Travais may pass your path, I hope you are sufficient to challenge them or avoid them. Don't be brave. Be clever. Too many people in this empire believe that being brave is all that's required. Please, don't be brave. Be clever.
No problem.
For the empire,
Well, there you go.
says as he stands. And clearly there's a slight pause which suggests this time you probably should.
Yeah, we do it. We do.
Indeed.
I had it
We
beaten. Yeah, I had it beaten into me a couple of
Yes,
weeks
quite you
ago,
have.
so-
I assume Elric stands, everyone else did, yeah, totally. Just making sure.
Need to say it.
As he makes a small nod, he says, I wish the gods stay far from your footsteps. He says, because the more they interfere, the more difficult things become. He says, may your path be simple. And he claps twice. The door opens, and a relatively burly bloke bursts in with a hammer in his hand. As he goes, no, we're going. Oh. No. And turns round. As he then leaves. Lucas sits down.
Valupo briefly needs to visit the privy.
Valupo disappears. Well,
I've drunk too much coffee.
Too much calf.
as
So
Well,
logistically, we can't take the barge. It's blockaded at Dalberus, right?
but could we pay to get through the blockade?
Children. Well, I suppose we're
Well, this
leaving the
is-
north
he says they're supposedly blockaded against all Sigmarites and Southerners and
and
such
entering into their region, not leaving.
like. We could just have the Knights Panther talking on behalf.
Say we're on the Graf's business. Doesn't matter when we get down there.
It just
We'll be long
means
gone.
speed-wise, we get to Altdorf, see what we need to see, back out onto the boat, and down.
I don't know. Does anybody know that if it's Sigmar's Exodus, you go from Altdorf up to Talabheim past, let's see if I can recall it. I think the first stop's Altdorf, the second stop's Ravenstein, which is in Talbotland. Then after Ravenstein, it is Schmiedorf, I think. After Schmiedorf, I can't quite recall, but I do know you have to go to Talagad, which is just beside Talabheim on the other side of the crater. You have to go into Talabheim, then to a place called Wog something or another. Then down south towards Vertbad. I can't remember all the stops. And then from there, you make your way down to Averheim in Averland. That's the capital. And that is normally the end. But for people who are particularly dedicated, they continue further down towards Heideck, which is in the south of Averland, and then into Blackfire Pass. Some take a detour route away at this point and head into the Black Mountains and visit the Skaranarak temples, where apparently Sigmar faced a creature of such enormous size that the mountains themselves could not contain it. That's what I know, at least what little I know.
History check.
Mhm.
6 successes.
Uh-huh. Is it 6 or is it actually not 6?
Advance.
Yeah, I treat advanced history as base.
Yeah, yes it
Nice.
is. Nice.
That's my base. Is he right? Is he saying
The history of the Great Exodus of Sigmar
Yeah.
is a multifaceted tale because each facet tells a different one. Some claim that he went to the world's edge. So they went over to the mountains in the Far East. Others claim that he went down to the Black Mountains. Others, like for example Hergart, believe that he went to the Grey Mountains. All of them loosely say the same thing, which is when Sigmar had ruled for 50 years, he abdicated. and he placed his crown upon his throne, and he left. Most tales claim he took his hammer with him. Some say that they left the hammer. There's lots of different tales around the hammer and where exactly it came back or it didn't come back. But what you can say for certain is that the description that Lucas has given is definitely a version of the core Exodus of Sigmar pilgrimage. It is the most walked pilgrimage in the Empire.
Right.
Altdorf down to Averheim, and then maybe Blackfire Pass of your brain. It is walked by often thousands every single year, clogging along the roads, making their way from one place to the next. And it has created a whole host of, effectively, larger towns than they probably would have been, as the tourists are going by on their long pilgrimage, picking up all of their various... Yeah, they're picking up all of their various holy relics as they go until eventually they arrive down in Averheim, and they typically call it a day, drinking a whole lot of wine down there. The pilgrimage, takes an average of about 2 months.
Right.
And that, in winter, given that you're going to cross, if you go by this route, across the hills in the middle of Talbotland, might be an absolute pain in the freezing butt.
Okay.
Because you will not be able to take a barge across the mountains. Well,
The hills.
the uplands.
Yeah. So Lucas is loosely right there then.
Yes,
Yeah.
Lucas is loosely right, although as you're coming back, you're hearing them discussing Sigmar's Exodus and the loose details that they have of it.
There are a few more stops looking at your list.
Leopold, is there... We've sort of done the usual one. Is there any sort of cross-referencing from a theological position?
Cross-referencing what?
In terms of the Exodus of Sigmar?
Lucas gave us the stops that he knows. But there might be different
I
ones.
know all 17 stops.
But would you know that they are the actual stops?
I mean, the stops I've been taught.
Yeah, you've been taught that Sigmar's definitely stopped at certain places, and each place that's marked on the Holy Pilgrimage is associated with a story. But it's a story that you're only told when you go on the pilgrimage. So many who've been on it say, yeah, of course I know the story. Not telling you, Dave, because you get to do it. And it's a pilgrimage that all good folk of the Empire are supposed to take. And indeed, it's getting bigger every year and continues to get bigger every year.
But not in winter.
Well, no, there will be some.
Yeah, unlike many pilgrimages, which are done at a particular time of year, this one can be done at any point. And you're correct, in winter, it's much less popular. It's most popular from spring into summer.
I bet there's a few flagellants that do it in winter.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Barefoot.
There are
Barefoot.
barefoot.
And let's be honest, once we start going, there will be more flagellants
I don't understand why that would be the case.
because they seem to come to wherever I am.
Oh, I thought it was flatulence
Yeah.
because of all the beans.
Right.
You don't remember them outside the palace?
They know him now.
Yeah, but I didn't know that they turn up wherever he goes.
I mean,
Yes, but-
I did tell you that.
Yes, but I
There's a
Well, I didn't know
difference
that it was.
between-
Yeah, they come in Altdorf and then they just turn up wherever you go.
Hang on. Yeah, no, that is a good question. So
Is it like a spiritual? Like they just...
will they be drawn to you?
I'm a prophet of Sigmar.
And that being the case, does Elemental's Aegis now
Oh.
cover that?
You don't know. I don't.
Are Ladriel and Sigmar at war over you?
I mean,
Please
he hasn't. Oh no, there has been.
It's hovering.
There have been some of them in Middenheim, haven't there? But not as
Yeah.
obvious in Altdorf, but maybe because there aren't as many rapid
Been a prophet
Sigmars.
for a while. Is it? What's changed? Is it? Were they down in Nuln with you?
No. No, not
You
that I
weren't.
know,
You didn't
least.
really consider yourself a prophet then
Yeah,
either.
But I wasn't really.
You were more an oracle.
Yeah.
You were answering questions. You weren't giving prophecy.
Speaking of which, I'd like to undertake a prophecy maneuver.
Prophecy maneuver.
This
Maneuver.
feels like the time.
What is this?
It's not a crit, but it is a pass.
So, pass. Tell me, what does a pass do? Since it's our actual proper
Pass.
prophetic moment.
Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, the gods speak. Your god speaks through you, but you are uncertain of their true meaning. Sorry.
So,
Helpful?
So it's just Paul. Don't worry.
Unseemly things are being done to that hammer.
Unseemly.
So, as you're discussing him being a prophet, he suddenly stops and says, "The hammer is lost." between then, now, and forever. And only the pure hand can grasp it.
Jump to the 8th.
I can do that.
But are you pure?
I mean, as soon as he says that, you know what Elemental Wife by rote will say.
And then, just as you think that's it, and everyone's like, and 6 gods walk the earth. So it claims.
Don't give him any more ideas.
How does this prophet thing work? Are you out for a bit? Are you just saying this
No, you
thing
just
and then
say this stuff.
Says it.
He just
No,
says
he
it.
just says it.
And then he knows that it's the words of Sigmar.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Does it have a prophetic tone, just so we can differentiate?
As much as he enunciates it. Yeah, it's just coming from his voice.
He knows it's prophecy.
Yeah, and immediately his first concern is generally jot this shit down.
Yeah, did somebody
Because this is quite literally the testament of Leopold.
Yeah.
Okay, the words of Leopold are now, it's a thing.
Oh, it's a book.
It will be.
Yeah.
Which 6 gods?
Like Elemental Wife was about to say something, then he said the second bit, and she's like, no, I'm not talking now.
I have a question, Father Leopold. If we are going to do this properly and walk in Sigmar's footsteps, as pilgrims, what should be our first step? Some kind of blessing ahead of it?
All you know is you're supposed to go to the High Temple of Altdorf, which is at the base of the rock where the palace is. And it's generally got a congregation out in front of it. A lot of people pass through here. Yeah. In summer, there'll often be several hundred gathering around, offering prayers to Sigmar. And what's the most, from outside it, that the most common thing they do is they place a seal with their own personal favourite prayer upon it outside the temple. It is just clogged with seals and prayer parchments. And everyone puts their favourite prayers up and seals it to place with red wax.
Yeah, you do that. And then I'd imagine what we'll want to do is find other pilgrims who are going and blend in with them.
Yeah.
If there are.
So we can't just skip to the end.
Yes, it occurs to me. It occurs to me if we're going to do it, we have
But
to
he
do it
didn't say
properly.
all of
Like,
his
surely of all of us, you understand the importance of following the correct path.
Well, prophecy, no. That's my entire raison d'etre, is to fuck it up.
But following it, this is not about prophecy, this is about following the path.
Well,
It may very well be
just-
that at touching each of these
Altdorf
points...
is a tricky place to go back to for us. We're not
That's where we need
a
to go.
small party of unknowns anymore.
Yeah.
Good thing we're in disguise.
It's not a very good disguise, unfortunately.
Puts his hat back on.
Hold on.
Pulls it down over
Where
his
did
eyes.
Loophole go?
Especially if it's a spiritual.
I don't recognise this man.
Especially if it's a spiritual thing and Sigmarites flock around you,
That no winter might be to our
I
advantage.
don't really believe in Sigmar.
Just to,
Other two.
Heretic!
so the reason I was asking about your name is that in my language, the rune Elrith, which can be pronounced in many different ways, but
As Elric
sometimes
also.
as Elric, means, well, it means the spark of fire, the spark of the anvil.
What does Grunfeld mean? Is there like a
Greenfield.
But he just inherited that name. Someone gave him the name Elric, told
Maven
him.
clearly had everything that she wanted planned out for me, so I'm not surprised.
Well, you did say that you have relatives in most of the colleges at her tent.
Well, maybe. Does Ramrong mean anything to you?
No, that sounds ugly.
That's a horrible name.
Does it mean anything to those of us who speak
I
Cazalet?
was going to say it sounds
no,
more to
no, that's not.
What about
strict
those of us who maybe speak another language?
Good
I'm
point.
pretty gone.
It's not squeaky enough to be squeaky. So.
Yes.
Oh shit, that's not good.
And in another language, it's extremely close to like a sacrifice.
Oh, good.
It's in that area. It sounds very similar to Ramruch, which would be a sacrifice, which is given for the betterment of all.
He was sent so that I could go to the college and be protected almost.
That's
Maven's horrible.
yeah.
Well, I just thought when the
So, are we intending to go on a pilgrimage? Is that actually what we're going to do?
And we can't skip
Yes.
to the end.
apparently not. I would rather, but
I mean, I always intended to do this one, but I'm being honest.
Probably for
And
Ronaldo pilgrimage.
let's
you
do it
probably
now
can
before I
skip
get too old.
Just to establish that as well, Lucas, you make a good point. People doing this pilgrimage all the time.
Yeah.
So we must do something, and this will help with your, we have to do something different.
Why?
Because there's
We
no,
are different.
I think
Yeah,
just
you're
by
saying that just it being us is different.
yes,
That's very arrogant.
yeah, but it keeps
And that is me
happening.
saying it as well. I understand.
We're taking a profit of Sigmar to each of those locations.
Right. Well, I suppose if we get them there and see what happens.
To see what unlocks.
Yeah.
You plug in.
This is a multi-lock, I would assume.
Yeah.
But we're going to
Are we
do
going
it.
to Da Vinci Code?
And
Is that what's happening?
it's,
Lucas,
it's unlikely
Anagrams.
National treasure.
it's unlikely that look the pilgrimage finishes in a temple. It's unlikely we're going to walk into that temple and just find the hammer sitting in that temple. I suspect when we get there, maybe the stories that we encounter plus holy visions on the place, which may,
Okay.
I mean, literally get
Maybe there's a
memories
piece of the hammer in
Sigmar.
every temple. We have to collect it.
A
Or
piece of
maybe-
the
or
So
puzzle.
I've got this hammer.
Or maybe the temple at the end isn't the end of his footsteps,
No,
but
exactly.
you need to get. I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. What were you going to say, Lucas? You had a look.
No.
You said you wanted.
Everyone looks at him. I was just saying, well, when the father went to the Shining Rock, I mean, he got an idea that possibly Sigma had been there. Is that not right?
The first time, yeah.
Yeah.
But you weren't there.
Oh,
So
right,
you
of
wouldn't,
course.
you wouldn't know that.
Well, no, I knew because
No, he
He
had
knew
visions
all
of
the
it.
visions.
Ah, yes.
Right, so
First time, yeah.
that, of course,
the
that
second
wasn't
time,
you.
not so much.
But what if we are actually in the same places where Sigma was, and you have the same?
Mhm.
And then maybe we will understand what he was doing and
Exactly.
thinking,
Yes.
rather than
That's
just
my-
simply.
That's
Not the
my
first time, I
thinking.
suppose.
I mean,
Yes.
it's not like we've not had those sort of experiences in the past.
If the Skaranarak temples, they're not down there as well, are they?
They are down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a
While you're out of the room.
That's a separate pilgrimage,
No,
right?
but Lucas said that.
no, the Skaranarak pilgrimage is attached to the Great Exodus pilgrimage, but people tend to make a little jaunt down into the Black Mountains and then pull back and then possibly
'Cause
go to Blackfire Pass.
We may want to do that because I know from what Habakkuk has said that there's an imprint of Galmaraz at the last Skaranarak temple.
Oh, well, that would be something to see, wouldn't
Yes.
It would be useful.
Yes, it would give us a sense of dimensions, if nothing else.
And at what point in the, I don't know Sigmar's stories well enough.
I have failed you.
I just have different spaces that keep things in different places.
Don't worry, we have plenty of time in the pilgrimage for you to fill your brain with stories.
Great. Brass Cube. When did that happen?
When he was
Before.
before.
I believe it.
Before his exodus.
Yeah.
I
Before- long
believe,
before.
but I believe it was between then, now, and forever. More accurate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it is a very strange place.
So does he in the stories? Does he become a god at the end of this?
You know, he goes away and is lost to history, and then some 50 years later, Hellstrom turns up and says he's ascended, had a vision,
Okay,
and he's a god.
because if there is maybe a portal at the that we find, maybe he does just walk through
Yeah.
in the same way that others have walked through flames and gates. You know.
Perhaps. That would be awful.
Say
I mean, maybe.
we do find the hammer. Who's pure of hand?
Or maybe we'll have a sense of that by the time we get there.
I am a
Or
descendant.
we'll all lose a hand.
Direct.
I'm sorry, but are you?
Yeah, no, yes.
But are you?
It's traceable. Oh.
You.
Sorry. In a moment.
You're very patient. with him,
Still
Dan.
throwing me off. That's a good point,
I mean,
actually.
there's
Well,
a
actually,
certain purity to Birdie.
sure.
Which, in our character, we know that Stephen can fake.
I wasn't.
But not at the
I'm
time.
not a duplicate.
Yeah,
don't
she's
know.
different.
We don't know that.
I do.
No, we did.
Gerhard thought he was real for a second there.
Yep.
He's a real
Well,
harsh.
I mean, technically,
We know
no,
that.
that's not that far.
No, we know that the Skaman can fake blessed priests, but we believe the reason they took Birdie in the very first place was because of her purity.
And they lied when they said I was a proof of concept. It hadn't worked. I was just a.
Just
That's
don't want to
okay
go all
with
the
my
way. If
Remember,
Well, hopefully
But-
Sigmar will guide our steps.
I'm pretty
But
sure
remember-
he will.
remember in Brass Keep when she shone with Heish like the sun?
You could hear it.
No, I could hear her. That was the problem.
No,
Her
as in
words.
when she spoke,
It was overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Heish is just the wind, though. It's not
But
indicative
it's a
of.
wind of purity, though, right?
Yeah, but it's not related to Sigmar directly, I suppose.
I think we'll know.
But the prophecy wasn't only the pure of hands who are related to Sigmar somehow.
So,
Rust,
so
was it?
is this, do you think, a prophecy that is known by others?
Not widely.
Whoever was.
So who
Gone
would
to
know
that.
it, do you think?
Well, people at that particular monastery.
Yeah.
Habercorn did tell him when he and Habercorn were talking about it, because they talked about the fact that Sigmar left
She was
with
blessed.
Hammer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it that one that she'd gone to?
Pardon?
No. No, it was the monastery of the Word that she went to.
Yes,
Wasn't that also in Talabheim?
I know. Monastery of the Word's quite far away from Dalby. It's closer to Dalby. In fact, closer to Carberg, truth be told.
Is this abbey on the way? Should we stop there?
Which abbey?
We're going to Talabheim.
Priestly.
The
Priestless Time. It's if you go by river up, it's very much on the way. Yeah, I mean it's a bit of a diversion off by about 15, 20 miles,
But you can do that.
but you can do that. It's a little bit like going off to see the
because
Stonehenge.
I was going to say the place of the Shining Rock, but
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, we could take a detour. Yeah.
because maybe the veracity of that prophecy, what that story that they have, perhaps we should check that if we can.
Is that the prophecy that said you must walk in the steps
Yeah.
of Sigmar?
You know, I'm just concerned that if we're following prophecy, who else is?
Oh,
It's a very
this
well
is a
known
race. This is a race.
Well, yeah, this is a race, but the route is well known. But I'm meaning the prophecy behind it. If, for example, the prophecy is known that there must be a pure of hand, that may account for all of the, let's say, friends of Birdie and everything that they did. They may have just been chasing a prophecy,
Oh.
attempting to do something so that they could claim something else.
And they did
Also,
have a copy of Gale
Someone
Morass.
just lost their hand.
Wow.
Sigismund the Younger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was
No. Do you think so?
And Blatilda.
They said they aided, but I don't think. Well, who
It's
knows?
very unlikely. Yes, if you're
not much
a herd of
snack.
If
Eastmen,
you're being
you go-
literal, a baby's hand would be pure, wouldn't it? In a creepy.
How likely-
and also
No, the red crown.
I think
regardless, I think we can't make any guesses
No.
here. We're not gonna find
Also, yeah, if it's a race, are we not just going?
I think it'll be revealed as we go along because we have one advantage that they don't.
Yes, but I imagine they have their own
Magister.
advantages. So I think we should move our discussions to the barge. We should tell the barge that we are moving downriver and that we should make some clear decisions because there's one thing that I think we haven't made a decision on that we're going to have to. And it's a horrific choice, just as horrific as any of the Civil War options. And that's what happens when we encounter other parties. But I don't think we answer that here, for the walls may have ears.
Indeed.
Because some of these parties are going to be just as blessed, just as certain, and just as sure, and they are going to be probably murderous.
Yeah.
In their certainty that they are the only ones that are destined to do this particular deed.
Does this pilgrimage have to be done? Like, does it matter how you get from each point?
Oh,
The
Like literally
pilgrimage.
walking it.
If you're the pilgrimage is typically walked, although many don't. Some ride, some take barges, and then they go through. It can be done quite quickly. It can be done very slowly. The most devout tend to trudge the whole way, and it's a particularly common route for flagellants and flagellant orders. Indeed, along that route, many of the flagellant orders have their core temples that they are either spawned from or attend. It's quite the route.
How should we do it then?
Speed run it.
It's a good question. Is there a location close by?
I take it we're like.
No, we
going
have to start
the
an
bar.
hour.
Yeah, actually, we're
Can we,
So should
can
we go?
to the barge? Let's convene.
Right, let's hold it until we get to the barge. So you all leave. The snow outside is drifting down lightly, far less heavy than it was when you first got here, but heavy enough that all of your footprints that you made making your way up to the inn from the barge have been erased, giving you fresh snow to make your way back down to. By this point, Bloodhilda is up. Bloodhilda's throat was clearly cut from here, right down here, and across her shoulders. The scar is livid and deep, and indeed has broken right through her voice box. She is never, under normal circumstances,
Yeah.
ever going to talk again. At best, she's got a... It's pretty good. That's about it. Everything else is gone. That is not all she has, though. She also has some pretty nasty scarring across the top of her forehead. And one of her ear, a gobbet missing. She has been the receiving end of quite a lot of damage. By this point, Skip is also awake. He's pulled everything up. He was on night duty last night. But he's helping Bloodhilda get everything because they're pretty convinced that they're about to go. He's got his new good foot now strapped up onto his leg, and he's making his way around, barking out the occasional order over towards the barge girls, both of whom are making their way about, getting everything set up for potentially going and brushing the snow off the sails. Both girls have seen war, would be the easiest way of putting it. One of them has lost 2 fingers. The other one has lost her ear entirely and has a big scar down here and has massive scars and a burn mark up her arm. This barge has seen shit. By the time you get there, it's time for Skip to turn in. And he was already shucking off his top to go down. You've seen him without his top. He once dived into the Reich and saved all of your butts.
Yeah, he did. What a hero.
He no longer has a nipple on this side.
Ooh.
Indeed, it looks like he may have lost a rib.
Wow.
A massive dip into his midriff, down by his abdomen. A bit of him looks like it's been torn out. It's now healed, mostly. It's still a bit rough, but he's not dead. He apparently doesn't care. Pulls it off and moves into the back and drops down. Doesn't even really pay attention to the fact that you're arriving. As far as he's concerned, his job for the day is done. It's now Bloodhilda's job to take over. She just makes a small hand gesture over in your direction, then waves over towards Skip to see Skip's already gone.
How is she?
Her other hand isn't even there.
How does she communicate with the barge girls? Or are they just so that they've got a thing now?
Yeah, they've been doing it for a while now.
Interesting.
Probably have a whistle, right, to get people's attention. That's what I would do if I were
Yeah.
her.
But that gives you away where you are.
Yeah, but if it was an emergency.
I'm wondering.
Of course.
I call to her, do you need a hand?
She shakes her head. Yes. Like that.
Shout if you need me.
She nods. And says,
Wow. Father, keep a lookout. Matilda, shout if you need me.
So sorry. I'll just go throw myself off the back. With my armor on. I deserve it.
Go over to the horse.
Slay.
Start taking everything off the horse.
That's what we can put on your helmet, is your own personal empathy with kill.
I was going to say a fuck. You also said you need a hand, and then did you say shout if... Wow.
Shout if you need a
It
hand.
was... So I think the hand came first, and then it was shout if you need it. And then she just gave her the middle finger.
Greta
Took a shit in her breakfast.
rubs her hands together and says, "Are you travelling north or are you coming with us?"
We're going south.
I thought that might be the case. She says, "I'll go sell the horses." She says, "Have you got anything else you want sold here?"
Don't think so. We've got all of our...
I got some money.
She says, "I'm about to get more of it. Your purse looks heavy." "Good." She says, "And we could probably take on some stock if you've got enough. Let's have a look."
It's about 60 gold.
"How much?" "I could have done with that earlier."
Oh, yeah.
Skip somehow hears and comes over and says, says, yes, of course, here, take that. And he's like, yeah. And then clop, makes his way back down.
They probably all deserve a raise, right? In terms of what they're being paid and what they've experienced.
Yeah.
Right, I'll get these things sold. If there's nothing else, Bloodhilda, when? And she goes,
We did bring some provisions. But obviously
we're provisioned, so if you give it over to... Yeah, she says, "Let me do this first." And off she goes. Do myself a quick couple of rolls to add to the ridiculous number of coins you have. Let's add that in. I need quite a few more coins. I'll get you the rest of those later. Horses, particularly half decent ones,
Oh, I get
are cheap. Yeah, she's not taking your money yet.
While she's doing that, Leopold will begin filling his brain up with Sigmar stories.
you don't notice, but Birdie kind of leans a little closer and
7
listens
successes. Very entertaining.
But how about before you get fully into the chat, you could maybe give the crew a once-over while we've got some time?
It's my intention.
We do it at the same time.
You could just answer it.
Maybe we should focus on what's in front of them rather than the incredible stories.
You're right, they are
I
distracting.
can multitask, it's fine. It's good. If Lucas,
Yes.
if we've got extra rations or food,
Yes.
let's see if you can. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't do this anymore. You may. May I address Lucas and see?
You don't need to ask to talk to me, for goodness sake.
Okay.
There are things that need done.
It's because I felt like I was ordering it, and I don't want to.
What are you saying?
How do you feel? That's how we start conversations. How do you feel about using the extra rations we have, connecting up with that kitchen girl, and seeing if we can get a little bit of a feast, a welcome, a collective together? It seems like these.
I'll go talk to the girl.
Yes, it's
Her
a
name
celebration.
That sounds like a good
Her
idea.
name is Swenya.
Swenya.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Swenya.
Yeah, good idea.
Swenya.
Swenya.
And if you could let her know
What
that
sort
at
of
some
name is
point
that?
It's Nordlander by the sound of it.
Right.
we will have a refit and make the galley taller.
Well, that'll take
Well,
time.
we can't do that here. But
No, but eventually.
That'll take time.
You can make it open there, but
Yeah.
Should we hire a carpenter?
Dirty swing the axe.
I do
No,
actually have a talent.
we're in a race.
Good idea.
Carpenter, extra words, always a good thing to have on board.
Mr. Swenya? Mr. Swenya disappears off into the... Oh dear. Ducks down. Ugh, yes, I forgot about this.
Yes.
Things that have happened in here.
Let's not drown.
Yeah, but I'm really glad we didn't bring Sigfeder because I think hearing the news about Dumpling might have tipped him over the edge.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's what started.
He's in.
Oh.
Not a good place.
Oh god. Yeah.
About half an hour later, the barge pulls away from the Emperor's Hammer's docks. It was easy to forget. But now that you're here, this place has a library that's arguably more extensive than almost any other when it comes to unexpected, odd facts about the Empire.
And the Wittgenstein holy books are here as well.
Yes, they are.
Maybe we should have brought Marguerite after all.
As far as she's concerned, it's her library.
She would have appreciated
As
more.
far as she's concerned, we're in outdoor. No, we're in Middenheim.
Yeah, quite.
Yeah.
And it's where you generally hold your quieter meetings. And it's not just because the main hold is one of the largest areas in the barge. It's also that all those books just absorb sound. Something that Father Leopold actually appreciates, because where he is at the front, everything happens at the back. It's next to quiet.
Maybe can he get his hammock moved there instead?
Well, he's at the front and it's the
Library.
back.
Next to it could be quieter for him.
Yeah, but he's got his little shrine down here as well, which has been maintained.
He only sleeps for a couple hours a night.
Yeah, it's true.
Was it your shrine?
Is it a good shrine? or
Yes, it is a good
evil
shrine. It's a perfectly good shrine.
It's made of bone.
Can I give the shrine an augury? I have passed my augury.
Yeah, it's a good shrine. It's a good shrine. Yeah.
So something your shadow like.
We were talking about this earlier. If we don't have to necessarily follow the same roads or rivers on the way between points, that might reduce the risk, because they will know, if other people know the prophecy, they will know we are on this path. It would be much better if we could go in and out of the key places.
Greta comes in and says, we can't be certain of anything other than the key points as to exactly what place. The modern roads wouldn't be in the same place, presumably, as where Sigmar would have once walked. So walking in his footsteps will be, if not guided directly, impossible. Does that seem fair?
I agree.
Yes.
So if that's fair, then I would suggest we just take the barge.
And also, to start with, no one knows we're on the path.
Quite.
Probably be a couple of stops in before.
Yeah.
And it will also give Gerhard time to read this library.
Yes.
Agreed. Just needs an evening. Really.
Just to, but
I've read the lot.
you've read it before. I understand that.
He has not.
Yeah. Now-
He had one. A lot.
yeah, we have specific things to look
Each of a
for now.
book.
We have specific things to look for.
Yes, no, true.
Plus, there might be some homes in Elfrey.
Do we know all the stops? Because we can.
Yes.
Right. So where's the first stop? I know that one. That's in Altdorf.
Yeah.
So that's in Altdorf. That's going to be difficult to get at. It's beside the palace, which means we're going to have to go through Altdorf. It might be worth the barge not going into Altdorf at all, so we can avoid the taxes. So if we anchor somewhere upriver in the Talabek, and then you can move into the city and then come out afterwards. So where's the next stop after that?
Ravenstein.
Right, so Ravenstein's that's just a few miles further upriver. We'll be there probably by the same day. Maybe we're on barge. We'll be there the same
pass
day.
Ravenstein to get to Altdorf, would we?
And we'll pass it on the way down, but I presume we want to do it in order.
Yes.
Right, so what's the next one after that?
Schmiedhof.
Right, so that's on the north bank. Middenheim. That's where they make all the...
It's where they forge all the cannons.
Yes, that is where they forge all the cannons for Middenheim.
Well done, Alan,
Are you
otherwise.
okay?
Yes, but I knew Greta was going to say it, and I wanted to say it first.
You haven't changed at all. He says,
Are we stopping at that
Have
abbey as
you
well?
had some leaves?
well, we can figure out further stops once we've got the main stops we have to take, and then we can organise others. What's next?
Sudenberg.
Sudenberg. I don't know where Sudenberg is. Do you know where Sudenberg is?
Yeah.
You've got enough to call out a general area.
Very.
Right.
So it's
And
number.
history.
Oh my goodness. 4. So yeah, it's like 3/4 of the way between Schmiedhof and Allenhof.
Oh, right, so we're talking Middenland, south of Middenland. Right. So that will be probably, we may be able to get all of those in a couple of days. So what's the next one?
Oh, Allenhof.
Allenhof. Right, in Allenhof itself. So again, we're on the north, so that's mostly North Bank, all relatively easy. Perhaps I'll speak to Bloodhilda about it, just in case she's got any further knowledge. Where's next?
Then there's the Way Temple of the Black Boar and the White Wolf, which is
Oh, I don't know what that is.
almost exactly halfway in between Allenhof and Talagad.
And do you know if it's on the north or south bank?
I think it's on the North Bank.
I'm presuming we'll be able to get some sort of...
Yeah, I think they all are. I think like if you were to walk it, you walk on the North Bank.
along the north bank, then you'd cross over at the Wizard's Way at Talabheim and you go to Talagard. No, that makes sense. So on the north bank, except for Ravenstein, which is on the south bank.
Is it? Oh,
Yes, it is.
The map I saw must be poorly crafted.
Wouldn't surprise me. Cartographers are absolute
They
nonsense.
are. You can't be trusted. Can't be trusted.
So after Talagard, did we travel south?
Yes. Down
What's
through
next?
Talabheim, through Stirling. Through
So
Talabheim.
what's the next point?
So Talagard, then Talabheim
So
itself.
we're going to Talabheim. Oh
Yes,
God!
the
So, then we
Helgenhammer
don't-
Temple.
so we're going to have to go into the city.
I'm afraid so.
Well, they are very careful with everyone they let in. They will record everyone that passes through, which
They'll-
means
They'll know my name. Well, they'll know my family.
yes, that's our first potential issue.
Okay.
Talabheim has no, as far as I'm aware, political concerns that will try to stop us. They are currently neutral in most affairs.
Do we need some more specialized crew in this sort of venture, do you think?
I don't know. It depends entirely what we eventually plan to do.
As in some hands for, I don't know, defense, maybe some
Possibly.
hands for...
Well,
I mean, if we've got the coin.
smuggling, we'll pick up Sigmarites on the way, apparently. So
I shouldn't have necessarily. realised.
So after Talabheim,
After
which I would love to
Talabheim-
avoid if we could, but we can't.
We go to Warhammer.
Warhaven, that's to the south of Talabheim,
Yes.
just outside the crater.
Yeah.
I know where that one is. Where's next?
Then a bit further south in Talabheim, the stop that many say is the highlight of the pilgrimage, which is the Temple of Leask.
Yeah.
The good things.
I know last time you were excited about the holy place. It
went well.
terribly wrong.
Yes.
Well, it went perfectly.
So Leask is in, that's still on the Old Forest Road. So that's,
Yes.
so we're going to have to go
much
across the
further
mountains,
south.
which means we can't take the barge to any of these locations. Possibly though, you might be able to go to Warhaven, then go up by the barge, and then go down by the barge, and then past Kempbad, go upriver, and then go because Leask is in the south of Talabheim.
Yeah.
Going across the mountains in winter might be difficult. Where we might be able to do it all by river, although we'd have to go through all the locks again to get all the way up. That would be, it's expensive, but it might be worthwhile. Well, decide as we get closer. Depends what the weather's like. If the weather holds and it's not too snowy in the south, then you might be quicker just to go across the Old Forest Road by horse.
Then it's Hermsdorf after that.
Hermsdorf, I don't know Hermsdorf.
It's
Where's
just
that?
a little bit south of Leask.
So it's still in Talabheim?
Yeah.
Right.
Still north of the river. Then we cross the river into Stirling,
Mhm.
and it is Wurtbad.
Verbad. So capital again. Perfect.
Then carry on through Stirling, the Shrine of the Three Dragons further south,
Shrine of the Three Dragons.
and then the Grey Temple of Verden.
I don't know that one either.
And then we cross the next river.
Verden.
And we go to Averheim.
Averheim, so another capital. Gosh.
And that's when most of the pilgrims will stop. But then we're going to carry
For the
on
wine.
to Heideck.
Marvellous wines from Averheim.
Yeah. We're going to carry on to Heideck and then Grenstadt.
So Heideck's right in the south. And then after that, it's into the Blackfire Pass.
Grenstadt.
Yeah, Grenstadt is right.
Oh,
in the
right. So
south.
it's right.
My friend lives in Grenstadt.
Okay.
lovely.
He's a Knights Panther.
Oh.
You'll have to introduce me.
Well, we might be able to get supplies, money.
Yeah,
Gods.
and that's right. And the Skaranarat pilgrimage, that starts from Heideck. So we would detour
You
Heideck
detour off there.
towards Uthbar.
So if you're looking for speed,
Not Barakvar.
Barakvar, what? If we're looking for speed, I would suggest then that we barge down to Aldorf. We anchor just outside Aldorf. You go in, come back out again. Hopefully everything is fine. From there, we'll wait for you and wait a couple of weeks. She says, I'm sure it won't be any longer. And then having waited for a couple of weeks and not any longer, all the way up to Talabheim. And I think it might be wiser to barge all the way around rather than go across the mountains. But I think we check the weather, because if the weather's good, you could get over those mountains in a day. So you'd be far faster going straight across if you move it out 2 or 3 days and you'll be on the other side. And then down into Stirland after that. If that is the case, then we split, and I would suggest that the barge goes and I'd probably wait in Averheim for your potential return, because that is, I mean, it depends. It might be worth going. I mean, I could reach all the way up the Blue Reach. And you can get really very, very, you can get all the way up to Sigmaringen by barge. And that's where they believe the old capital for the Burgundians was. So Sigmar was definitely there if you want to pass by, and that's on the route to Skaranarak, the last temples of the Skaranarak. You would pass through the Mutland if you did that. But it might be quicker. I'll ask Batilda. He says, Batilda might have a better idea, but it might be worth anchoring in Sigmaringen. And because that would just be a small jaunt into the small jaunt, so a few hundred miles. But in comparison to far, far many more miles on top of that, it might be a better route. So how was he, Elect Captain? He seems to have impressed you enough that you've gone off on a ridiculous quest.
He was transparent as much as he could have been.
And talked a lot of sense.
You sure he's an Elect Captain?
He didn't seem to be out for himself, which is
Refreshing.
well
Unlikely.
one of the main reasons why.
Well, he was out for himself in terms of what he believes in, that the emperors or empire
Yes.
stands.
I mean, comparatively, okay. He wasn't out for himself immediately, obviously. You know, usually it's go and get this thing for me. Go and get this thing.
Well, he
or-
did
or
tell us why
power.
he needed it for himself. He needs us to give it to the emperor to resolve the civil war because he will side against the emperor and his general will side with the emperor. We already know that his general was in revolt against him at Brass Keep.
Oh dear. So he's looking to resolve his civil issues.
Yes, he's looking to keep his sword.
But that doesn't necessarily mean this is a fool's errand.
No, it does not. But what I mean is he was out for himself, but he was very transparent about that, about what he benefits.
Yeah. All right.
I have a concern that the barge might get locked in if we get a particularly deep freeze. I don't think the Taliban almost never freezes. Oh yes, I never considered that. I mean, it'll still be slow going, but you're right. Who would have thought? A bright wizard.
Providing there's wind.
Plus, some ships have things you put on them.
Icebreakers.
Oh, further
Yeah,
north.
it's not really. As far as outfitting goes, something that our barge is going to be very easily going to accommodate.
You
Anyway.
put Skip's leg on the front.
Have you seen he painted his toes?
No, put Bird's
Fetching.
foot on the front.
Yes, quite.
It does a lot of
It's
damage.
red.
It was Bloodhilda's idea, and he'd rather
It'd
took to
literally
it.
be the foot shover there.
I know.
Yeah, foot on the back.
I know. I mean, we should do that anyway.
Well, he must have his old foot, right?
So I suppose the only other question is there anyone that we'd like to stop on the way down south? Are we just going to pass through, or are we going to pick up any trade? Are we going to pose as traders? Because that takes time. Each day that we take trading is a day that we're not moving forwards. And if time is of the essence, then I would suggest we just drive forward and move as quickly as we possibly can.
Maybe you look to pick something up while you're waiting for us outside Altdorf.
Yeah, I think that probably wise. In fact, I think it might be. I'll speak to Matilda because the barge has got a perfect weight when it moves at its swiftest. And if we're moving upriver to reach Talipine, we're going to be much slower. And if we're carrying too much weight, we might not want to be carrying much in the way of stock to ensure that we move as quickly as we can. It can slow you as much as 2 or 3 days, possibly even more if you're carrying a great deal more in the hold. So, yeah, I'll speak to Bloodhilda about that. Do we want to stop anywhere down? Do you want to stop, for example, in the place of the Shining Rock again?
Particularly, no.
Well, I don't know. Holy Pilgrimage, it just seems like a thing you might do, and given it's on the way,
Twice is enough.
No, I mean, it's
once enough for him.
Yeah.
I'm not going in there again.
Yeah, rather avoid it.
Do we need to carry stock, or do we just say we are going to the next place to buy? Or
Okay,
do
we don't need to
trade?
carry it all. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll have plenty of opportunity to do small amounts of trading when we have to take a detour and leave you somewhere.
Yes.
Just enough to keep us ticking over, to pay the crew, to...
Yes, well, given you brought coin with you, that's made a significant difference. I was going to say we'd have to stop otherwise, but no, we'd lose crew. But if we're looking to hire in more crew, perhaps some mercenaries to help support you move into the mountains. However, I will say, though, that if there are people who are following this as well, it's very possible you'll hire in people who are worse. After what happened with that damned halfling.
Oh, no, well, that's fine, actually, because we've got a provided we hire people one at a time, we can check them all this week.
Well, we checked the halfling.
No, we didn't at that point.
I don't know that I did, but we know from the pallets and Lotov that doesn't always work.
If they believe they're doing good.
Yeah.
But if you have a friend, a nice panther, perhaps there are some people we can.
Hopefully
That's at the end.
he
of
won't
the
have
journey.
died. There's all that chance.
How long ago?
30 years.
Oh dear. She says, well, he's probably not alive anymore.
No, but he was young then, I think.
Oh dear.
Maybe he
We'll
has a
find
son.
out. And he might have a son as well.
He's married to an elf.
Oh,
Maybe the elf will come along.
He's married to an elf.
She was a friend of mine.
You're being very cagey. He says.
she walks,
Everyone leans
she
forward and
walks the
looks.
path of shadows. She's supposed to be obfuscating.
Does the elf?
He fell in love with me in Nuln, and I set him up with an elf to soothe his broken heart and have him as a contact in future.
As he did.
And I am quite certain that he wasn't that old. So they're probably just retired there.
He's probably 60. Let's be honest. He's
I
pushing
can make
daisies.
inquiries at the chapter houses as we.
No, it's fine. If he's there, he'll receive us, and if he's not, then we'll do something else.
But there's a long way to go before we have to worry about that. But
Yeah,
perhaps
we might not be alive by then.
having some coin set aside so we can hire people might be wise.
Especially guides.
Oh yes.
We could also,
Guides are going to be important.
we could drill
Excuse me?
Guides.
the
Right.
deckhands for basic defense.
Something else.
That we can do.
Pardon?
We can drill the deckhands. Is that what they're called?
Barge girl.
Barge girls.
Barge girls for defense.
I know they're
Repelling.
going to be frightfully good at it now.
But still, they'll be
That's
better
what I'm
after
good
some
at.
training.
They might feel more confident if they know how to defend themselves.
That seems fair.
We'll get a couple of ranks in the drill tower. We'll be kicking ass and taking names.
Aye. On a small spec.
Just as an aside,
Game in the
as
system.
Kath, I have water worker, so the crew now get advantage on
Talents?
sailing.
Excellent.
Oh.
So
Good talent.
So are we going to any other Sigmar temple? Are we going to the Abbey? Is there anywhere else? Like, you tell us, you're the one who's...
Well, I mean,
Enough.
we don't go anywhere near the monastery of the word, do we?
Nowhere near.
Yes, that's the only. So I mean, I think like we maybe go to Priestlichheim and we go on the Skaranarak detour.
But the abbey where the prophecy comes from, do we benefit from going there?
I don't know. Might that just draw others' attention to
Yeah.
the prophecy there?
But what if we find that they aren't... Like, they are following the Ruinous
Well,
powers
that's-
instead, and we're...
Let's wait till we're closer and make a decision when we're closer.
let's
That's-
not borrow
That's
trouble.
weeks away,
No.
days away.
It'll be about a week. Depends how quickly you move through Middenland. Depends what the
It's at least a
the
week
rivers are
away.
like.
Perhaps
So you
can,
aren't going downriver from this point onwards down the Delve.
you can ponder on this.
Exactly. I can ponder.
Another day, maybe.
One other
Sleep on it.
session.
Perfect. So,
Sorry.
with decisions made and the prime top tier choice of we're going to follow along the path of Sigmar's exodus, where he left the Empire behind, the most famous pilgrimage that the Empire has to offer. You all take some time to find out that your rooms are much as you left them. Your own little, rather empty, sparse, hammock-laden room, so very different to the beautiful palace bed that you have grown all
The
together
size of a
too
cupboard.
used to. Yeah, your lovely cupboards where you all got to live. There's only one proper bed in the place. It's at the back of the boat, and it's where Alamanowite's already snuck into. To which we will end with Greta admitting something to Alamanowite rather quietly. I was killed 7 times. What on earth did that elf do to me? She says, what did it do to me?
I told you, should we check on Greta?
What did it do?